accused by Russia of being spies. Dave?
Simon, former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort will not testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee today about his Russia contact. The subpoena was rescinded last night. Manafort turning over documents. Fox News, Farron.
In Chicago this morning, we have calm conditions, mostly clear skies, 68 degrees, 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Illinois legislators are headed back to the state capitol for a special session on school funding called by Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner. At issue is a plan that the Democrat majority legislature approved that changes how Illinois distributes school funding monies. However, the Senate isn't sending that bill to the governor, who says he'll make changes through his amendatory veto powers. He objects to additional funding to bail out the teachers' pension system and other monies for the Chicago public schools. Rauner claims Democrats will hold that bill hostage weeks before schools are scheduled to open. And as lawmakers are due back at the Capitol, about noontime today, there could be empty seats. 2 Chicago lawmakers announcing they're not coming. In a bit of political theater, State Representative Kelly Cassidy and State Representative Ann Williams yesterday said instead they'll stay in Chicago and try and help schools in the city get ready for the return of students, which isn't for weeks. Illinois State Police are marking Illinois Speed Awareness Day through education and enforcement. So watch out on the roads this morning. State Police say speed was the reason for more than 34% of traffic fatalities. 369 deaths last year. The State Speed Awareness Day resulted in over 3,000 citations. Members of a joint state, House, and Senate committee grilled officials of the Illinois DCFS about the April death of 17-month-old Samaje Crosby. DCFS Director Beverly Walker has only been on the job for about a month. However, she assured legislators the department will not simply make a couple of changes. Crosby was found dead in a Joliet Township home shortly after DCFS closed an investigation into whether she was being neglected. Chicago police are expanding the technology to fight gun violence in the city. Superintendent Eddie Johnson says they're expanding shot spotter sensor programs. It will now be utilized in the Gresham district. Meantime, Chicago's police department continues to rack up huge overtime costs as a means of keeping a lid on street violence. AM 560's David Stewart has a look at the numbers.
Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson says he's being given the latitude by Mayor Emanuel to continue using overtime to increase street patrols during the summer.
We're using the overtime the same way we've used it in the past to combat violent crime. And for me, I don't know if you put a price on people's safety. I just don't know that you do that.
Johnson says the extra patrols have been effective in reducing the number of shootings, if not the number of murders. Last year, police overtime cost the city $143 million. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
A third man is being held without bond in the wounding of a Chicago police officer during a shootout following a store robbery. Dante Jeffries, charged with attempted murder for firing the shot that wounded the police officer on Friday. Like the 2 other suspects in the case, the 27-year-old is also charged with armed robbery, aggravated battery, and kidnapping with a firearm. Illinois is set to become the second Big Ten university to ban participation by college athletes with a history of sexual or domestic abuse. In April, Indiana said it would not accept athletes convicted of a felony involving sexual violence. The Illinois policy is expected to include similar wording. Wilson Contreras drove in 4. Cubs beat the White Sox 7-2. The News is a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee. For tires, oil service, and repairs, National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. 5:06 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-900-1904. That's 1-800-900-1904. 1-800-900-1904.
5:08. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On Chicago's north side, got a crash with injuries on Devon at Washtenaw. Tri-State Tollway southbound. Traffic is stop and go from 159th past Dixie Highway. That's due to overnight work. Should be wrapping up now. 8094 westbound. We see roadwork delays Grant to Kennedy. The outbound Stevenson is clearing up after some work around Cass. There were ramp closures there and lane closures, but now traffic's moving much better in that area with just a little residual congestion. On the Stevenson at Lakeshore Drive, there were overnight ramp closures affecting the ramps from the outer drive to the Stevenson. The new ramps are set to reopen, and it looks like they're reopening as we speak. Still have 2 flood-related closures. Rawson Bridge and Port Barrington still closed. Roberts and Tuxedo Lane, River Road and McHenry still closed. In Fernview and McHenry Dam. Traffic service. CiCi's. Now at CiCi's, bring the party home this summer with 3 medium 1-topping pizzas to go for just $4 each. Only at CiCi's at participating locations for a limited time. Purchase minimum of 3 pizzas. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A more humid day today with sun and some clouds. High of 88. Then tonight it will become mostly cloudy. We'll have a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm with a low 72. Morning shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 66 at O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So time will tell on Jeff Sessions. Time will tell it, as she always does.
Yes.
Says President Trump yesterday. Rose Garden presser with the Lebanese president. The first question for President Trump. from the D.C. press corps was about Jeff Sessions and his future. And here is what Trump had to say.
Boy, oh boy, what?
No, that's not what he had to say.
This has been...
That's also not what he had to say.
I have a montage of what he had to say because they repeatedly asked him question after question because no one could, he didn't satisfy anybody's appetites.
But I am disappointed in the Attorney General. He should not have recused himself almost immediately after he took office. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me prior to taking office, and I would have quite simply picked somebody else. So I think that's a bad thing, not for the president, but for the presidency. I think it's unfair to the presidency, and that's the way I feel. Thank you.
What's the end game here? I mean, does he want a new attorney general so that they drop the Russian investigation? Because this is not new news that he recused himself from the Russian investigation. That happened right after he was appointed to that cabinet position and sworn in. So I don't. What's the play?
It seems to be a slow burn that he wants Sessions gone. There's also some suggestion that Trump is not happy that Sessions has not been more aggressive with respect to leakers. And in a related story, Jeff Sessions reportedly going to announce a new initiative against leakers. So that's Jeff Sessions reportedly getting to ready announce several criminal leak investigations in the next few days. Per this subject matter being raised in profile both by Trump and by his new comm director over the weekend, the Mooch.
The Mooch.
So that's interesting.
Well, yeah, and then yesterday he announced a new, policy telling cities that they must cooperate with federal agents seeking to deport people held in local jails. So he's not.
Well, that's not new.
Well, he was okay.
I mean, but sanctuary cities, the continued prosecution of sanctuary cities, that's not new, and Sessions has been consistent about that since the beginning.
But he made a tweaked announcement about it yesterday, so it's not as if he's planning on resigning anytime soon. He's, staying the course. He's moving forward, and CNN was reporting this morning that Priebus and Bannon have encouraged President Trump to tone down his rhetoric and leave his own cabinet member alone. I mean, Jeff Sessions was the first senator to come out and publicly support him. And even after the Access Hollywood tape came out, he still stood by him.
Well, this isn't about loyalty. This is about whether Jeff Sessions is the right man for this job. And the answer is that he is. Yeah. And I don't care what Jeff Sessions did or didn't do during the campaign. That it's interesting. That's usually what Trump cares most about is loyalty. And Sessions has been a loyal soldier politically, and I think he's done a responsible job as Attorney General, and I think he's a person of integrity who has a lot of respect in the Senate and, oh, by the way, in the conservative grassroots. And so with the Trump continuing to kind of publicly admonish Sessions, that, of course, has drawn a response, including from erstwhile replacements like Ted Cruz, who was complimentary of Sessions. You had Jenny Beth Barton, the co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots, say that they stand with Jeff Sessions. Tony Perkins, president of the Family Research Council, who also stood with Trump during the campaign and during those rocky moments, has said, I hope he sees, meaning President Trump, Sessions is a great leader that will defend the Constitution and the rule of law. Other senators have weighed in on the topic as well. Ken Blackwell, who headed domestic policy for the Trump transition team, defended him. There's a lot of conservative-based political support for Jeff Sessions that will not look too kindly on that does not look too kindly on how Trump is publicly denigrating Sessions, number one, and will not look too kindly on Trump firing Sessions, even if he replaces him with another conservative, Ted Cruz or somebody else. So,
well, could they refuse to take the position? I mean, could Senator Cruz have a private meeting with President Trump and say, look, I don't want the job because I want Sessions to stay in as Attorney General?
Well, sure.
I mean, he should do it because it's nonstop, and the questions are not going to go away until something happens.
I am disappointed in the Attorney General. He should not have recused himself almost immediately after he took office. I think that's a bad thing, not for the president, but for the presidency. I think it's unfair to the presidency. I told you before, I'm very disappointed with the Attorney General, but we will see what happens. Time will tell. Time will tell.
I mean, and then the tone, too, like, time will tell. I mean, that wasn't fired up Trump. That was, I don't know, it was a different side of Trump I haven't seen. It was very docile and very dark.
Well, what about Sessions? I mean, particularly from Trump's supporters, 312-642-5600. Should he stay or should he go? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line.
Not to be juvenile, but I was singing that song all day yesterday. Should I stay or should I go, Bona? Because it's got to be hard to do your job when your boss doesn't like your performance, right? I mean, who likes to be in that position?
Reportedly, Sessions' chief of staff communicated to the White House that he would not be resigning, so you're going to have to throw him out the window. He's not inclined to take the stairs at this point. So Trump has created another problem for himself, it seems to me. Much of this open-ended Russian probe is Trump's doing because he can't shut up. He can't stop tweeting. He can't stop making reckless statements. And that's what prompted, in part, the investigation, the recusal, the special prosecutor.
I keep thinking that now that investigators are digging into his family, Donald Trump Jr., and the meeting with the Russian attorney, and I just think that now that they're breathing down the back of the throats of his family members, that now he's putting pressure on Sessions to resign so that a new AG can come in
and do what?
And get rid of the investigation.
Well, how is he going to do that?
Get rid of Mueller, the special prosecutor. Just say, we're done with this. Wipe your hands clean of it and move on.
Yeah.
That's conjecture on my part. I just think that's why he's heating up this rhetoric against Sessions.
That makes no sense. There's no way that somebody is going to come in for the express purpose of getting rid of Mueller. That you would destroy your credibility as an officer of the court, much less Attorney General of the United States, and that's going to be quickly seen as for the transparency that you describe, were that to go down. Sessions is gone. Attorney General Joe Smith is in. Joe Smith's first order of business is to fire Mueller. Yeah, and Congress is going to sit idly by while that happens too. That would exponentially exacerbate all of Trump's problems. And again, the political cost he is paying for his lack of discipline. That's what this really is. And he just continues to double down on this approach to this matter. And if he thinks it's helping, I would refer him to the state of his domestic policy agenda, particularly Obamacare replace, which, they got the vote to move debate, and so we'll have days of debates and votes on the topic, but we're a long way away from anything resembling Obamacare replace or even just straight repeal coming out of the Senate. And if you had a president with a little bit more leverage, even with respect to Republican senators in red states, that could do wonders. People would be surprised. Steve and Joliet, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, good morning, Dan and Amy. I feel Attorney General Sessions ought to stay, and if President Trump feels he needs to let him go, he ought to do it. But you definitely don't want to end up like a Saturday Night Massacre back from the Nixon administration. Attorney Sessions, General, he is a good man of integrity, and I feel he'll hold true to it and do what he needs to do or know what's right, too.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Steve. I agree with that. And by the way, again, just to remember the timeline, as you suggested earlier, the whole matter of Sessions' recusal, he couldn't telegraph during the interviewing process before Trump nominated him because it wasn't really a central issue for Sessions until this matter between him and Franken at his confirmation hearing. And out of abiding respect for the canons and even the appearance of a conflict of interest, because Sessions was involved in the campaign, he made the decision to recuse himself, the right decision. Rudy Giuliani, somebody that has also been rumored to replace Sessions, agreed with that decision.
Right.
So, Trump is quickly becoming a man on an island with respect to this sort of decision-making and this sort of
harassment?
Well, it's not harassment, but these sort of public declarations.
It's not a comfortable position. And I would not be happy if I was Sessions. Because, again, it's no way to do your job when your boss doesn't like the job that you're doing.
Randy and Sandwich.
Dan, I respect you a lot, and I'm just calling this how I'm hearing it. You're sounding a lot like when Trump was in campaign mode, when he was trying to get elected, and there was absolutely no way Trump's going to be able to jump over this hurdle, and he would do it. And then there's no way Trump will be able to do that, and then he did it. And right now it sounds like you're going down that same rabbit hole where what Trump does is he rewrites the rule book with the support of the people behind him. And then what ultimately happens is he becomes invincible, that he doesn't have to follow the rules the same way that everybody else does, because we've reached this head in our country where this individual that we put up there is able to do what he wants because we're going to stand behind him and go, yeah, go get him, go in there and fight, do whatever it takes. I'll listen for your response.
All right. Thanks, Randy. I mean, I
Sessions is a conservative, and he's loved by the conservative movement.
Well, I would just say this about, Trump defeating the odds, right, and clearing all these hurdles that Randy talked about, which he did. But at some point, even Edwin Moses was not able to clear the hurdles. At some point, whether it's time or just the height of the hurdles that you're erecting before you, they become increasingly difficult to clear. And I suppose that's my point. Most of the hurdles in front of Trump with respect to Russia, this Russian investigation, and with respect to the domestic policy agenda, are hurdles that he has erected to impede his own progress. And it just is a curious approach to me. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't think so.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up, the Uber ride from hell, and it happened here in Chicago. But first, your forecast: sunshine, some clouds today, humid. Gonna have to turn the AC back on. We're gonna have a high near 90 degrees, and tonight with some showers and thunderstorms are going to plow through here, a low of 72. And for Thursday, a shower or thunderstorm in the morning. Otherwise, clouds and sun, a high of 83 degrees. Now let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center while Dan enjoys his donut. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Sounds good. Things have cleared up on the Stevenson Expressway. There was some outbound overnight work around Cass. That's gone. The delays are gone as well. Also, the Tri-State, there were some southbound delays between 159th and Dixie Highway, but all that overnight work is gone as well. We do still have road work delays on 8094 westbound. Very heavy from Grant to Kennedy Avenue. The eastbound side is fine. And we're now seeing routine early morning slowdowns on the inbound Ryan starting at 18th Street, and then on inbound I-57, got a 5-minute delay from 107th to the merge. Lakeshore Drive at the Stevenson, new exit ramps scheduled to open today as overnight work wraps up there. There's still construction in that area. On Chicago's north side, there's a crash with injuries on Devon at Washtenaw. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do on this show. Podcast of our Illinois Rising program covering Illinois politics and policy. Long-form interviews this week on Against the Current. We feature Dan Patlack, Cook County Board of Review Commissioner, talk property taxes in Cook County and politics in Illinois, as well as 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries from yours truly this week on the NEA, the country's largest teachers union, and our new series, Heart of the Matter, which is professional women speaking kind of in a colleague-to-colleague format about the salient public policy issues of the day. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Hello, this is financial advisor Dale Bradley speaking to you from the Bradley Investment Center in Evanston. Have you ever made an investment through one of those large national brokerage firms? Have you ever felt like just a number? Well, at Bradley Investment Center, our goal is not to be the largest practice. It's simply to be the best by establishing and keeping true personal relationships. Visit us at bradleyinvestmentcenter.com. That's bradleyinvestmentcenter.com. Or better yet, stop by and say hello. We are at the corner of Central and Central Park in beautiful Northwest Evanston. We strive to be the center of all your family's investment needs. For more information, call the Bradley Investment Center at 855-940-8700. That's 855-940-8700. 8700.
Bradley Investment Center. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. Bradley Investment Center is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
Message and data rates may apply.
Have you ever forgotten your password? With all the accounts you have and all the rules around passwords, remembering every single one is impossible. That's why millions of people are turning to Dashlane, the award-winning app that protects your passwords and creates an easy, secure way to access all of your accounts. And right now, you can get access to Dashlane free for life on your favorite device just by texting SECURE to 543-543. Over 6 million users manage their passwords with Dashlane. Over 6,000 companies trust Dashlane. And over 70,000 reviews give it a 5-star rating. But the only number that really matters? 0. Because that's how many times you'll forget your passwords using Dashlane. With Dashlane, your passwords are never misplaced and never forgotten. Simple, safe, secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane on your favorite device for life right now. Just text SECURE to 543-543. That's SECURE to 543-543.
AM 560, The Answer.
So this is dubbed the Uber ride from hell. That's how Channel 5 described it last night. There was a guy from Boston. His name's Martino. He was here visiting. He was at the bar. He called for an Uber. So the Uber driver comes, and there's a female passenger in the front seat. And he thought, oh, okay, I'll still get in because I need to go home. And she was very touchy-feely.
She kept trying to open the door, like groping him, and like could not even stand like still in one position. He definitely was acknowledging this and was just like, calm down, calm down.
Yeah, but it didn't. He didn't say.
You do want to acknowledge groping.
Yeah, but he didn't say calm down enough because then she started, undressing him.
She started unbuttoning his pants, and he was like, "I'm gonna drop him off. I'm gonna drop him off. Just hold off."
But let me guess, she couldn't hold off.
She couldn't hold off, so a sexual act was performed in the front while he was driving. While he was driving, and then the driver had the gall to ask him to give him a good review. You know how you guys rate each other? Hey, rate me well.
At the end, he's like, "Well, give me a good rating, won't you?" And I was like, "Okay."
Well, what about her? Is she going to get rated as well?
Oh, hey.
You don't feel safe. You don't know what to do, and you would expect more.
So he was, he complained to Uber. He didn't give him a good rating, by the way.
Customer service, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Guess what Uber gave him for his troubles? Because he had to witness this. Guess what they gave him? $10 credit.
Well.
Here's $10. He got a free peep show, but he got $10 from Uber.
That's also what the driver gave that woman.
And now he's using Lyft. And now he's using Lyft instead of Uber. Okay?
The worst thing about the story.
What?
You're bearing the lead.
What?
They charged him surge pricing for the ride.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. What are we doing, Dan?
How about Obamacare? What do we? You sound like a member of the U.S. Senate. Good question at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 68. Winds from the southeast at 6. In the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. President Trump continues to take his show on the road, telling a crowd in Ohio last night at a rally his administration is about keeping promises and bashed some critics who say he's not acting presidentially.
We believe in freedom, self-government, and individual rights. We cherish and defend, thank you, it looks like it's in very good shape, our Second Amendment. Congratulations.
Trump promoting efforts to increase border security, insists there will be a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. The Senate continues to debate Republican plans to repeal and replace Obamacare today at the urging of Senator John McCain.
Our deliberations can still be important and useful, but I think we'd all agree they haven't been overburdened by greatness lately. And right now, they aren't producing much for the American people.
Yesterday, the Senate came up 17 votes shy of a version of the GOP plan to repeal and replace the health care law aimed at reforming Medicaid. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson taking a break from his job, not resigning, though, according to a few reports and some media spots. Tillerson telling the administration he plans to stay on at least through the end of this year. The Justice Department is tightening rules for federal grants to sanctuary cities. New restrictions include a provision that cities receiving Justice Department money must provide 48 hours notice before the release of any illegal immigrant wanted by federal agents. Illinois legislators are headed back to the state capitol for a special session on school funding called by Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner. At issue is a plan forged by the Democrat majority in the General Assembly that approves some changes in how Illinois distributes school money. However, the Senate isn't sending that bill to the Republican governor, who says he will make changes through his amendatory veto power. Rauner objecting to the additional funding to bail out the teachers' pension system and other money for the Chicago public schools. A suspicious package is to blame, forcing the evacuation of a Walmart in Darien. DuPage County sheriffs say the package was discovered yesterday at that store on 75th Street. Turned out to be part of a store display. Wilson Contreras drove in 4 runs. Carl Edwards Jr. providing some timely relief, helping the Cubs beat the White Sox 7-2. The news service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99, plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil service and repairs, National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher can always count on the Democrats.
I'm being told that Donald Trump Jr. took a meeting with a Russian lawyer in which no law was broken. At least the Democrats aren't overreacting. What's this? Senator Tim Kaine?
This is moving into perjury, false statements, and even into potentially treason.
Yep, you can count on the Dems.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus major components of 20 other home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. Homeowners insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Be sure with the Shield. American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-700-2119. That's 1-800-700-2119. 1-800-700-2119.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Did you know your organization's logo can do far more than you think?
Your logo carried my clothes to the gym.
Your logo kept my coffee warm all morning. Your logo charged my phone last night.
When the highly trained team at 4 Imprint put your logo on things people actually use, you'll be amazed at how powerful your logo can be. Not only will we unleash the full power of your logo, we'll show you the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free. Text TEAM to 642-642 now. Every time your customers enjoy one of our promotional items with your logo, they'll think of you. Plus, with free art assistance, we'll make every item look fantastic for a great price. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Your logo keeps my laptop safe.
Your logo keeps me dry.
Attract new customers, reward employees, and make a lasting impression. Discover the top 3 promotional items for free. Text TEAM to 642-642. That's TEAM to 642-642.
5:35. Let's get an update on that ride to work or around town this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. For this hour, the morning is very heavy on westbound 8094. Nighttime roadwork still in place. It's stop and go from Grant to Kennedy Avenue. The eastbound side is fine. Elsewhere, the region looks good. Edens to Kennedy have no delays yet. Inbound Eisenhower, just a little congestion east of 25th. Inbound Stevenson, short delay start around Cicero, 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive up on 34. Ryan is 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 24 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 21. North side, there's a crash with injuries. Devon at Washtenaw. One flooding closure remains. It's in Port Barrington. Rawson Bridge still shut down. In Roberts and Tuxedo. Traffic. The service of Cece's. Now at Cece's, bring the party home this summer with 3 medium, 1-topping pizzas to go for just $4 each. Only at Cece's at participating locations for a limited time. Purchase a minimum of 3 pizzas. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sunshine and clouds this early morning, warm and humid, high 88. In the afternoon, humidity begins to build, and we see some showers and heavier thunderstorms moving into the area overnight, and a low of 72. 67 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. Breaking news as it happens. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we're talking about the possibility of seeing Jeff Sessions replaced. Well, Jeff Sessions is being replaced in the U.S. Senate. There's a special election in Alabama for that post. And among the candidates is Congressman Mo Brooks. You may know Mo Brooks if you follow politics, but you also may know him recently because he's
the hero.
Well, he was central right into the Virginia shooting that, or the assassination attempt on those members of Congress that left Steve Scalise, the majority whip, severely injured.
Yeah, so remember when it happened, I said, oh, now he's going to win the Senate seat because of his heroic efforts. But heroes don't brag about being heroes. I've always felt that way. A lot of people do. But he's got a campaign ad out where he touts what he did, because it starts off with the gunshots.
Congressman, does this change your views on...
And then it talks, then there's a black screen. It says Bernie Sanders supporter shoots, and Scalise and others on the baseball diamond. And then it says Mo Brooks used his belt as a tourniquet to save Scalise. And then they asked him about, the Second Amendment.
Congressman, does this change your views on the gun situation in America?
The Second Amendment right to bear arms is to help ensure that we always have a republic. So no, I'm not changing my position on any of the rights that we enjoy as Americans. I'm Mo Brooks, candidate for the Senate, and I approve this message.
So 2 of Majority Whip Steve Scalise's staff members objected to this. Obviously, one is Brett Horton, who tweeted, the day of the shooting while waiting at the hospital, I avoided the news, audio and video as much as possible. This makes my stomach turn. So... I guess some people have their, own ideas about what's appropriate, but I don't think he should have put it in a campaign ad. I mean, again, heroes don't brag about being heroes.
Well,
you let your actions stand for themselves.
He's not bragging about being a hero exactly. He's talking about the Second Amendment, isn't he?
Yeah, but before he talked about the Second Amendment, there was a black screen saying that he used his belt as a tourniquet to save Scalise. And
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Do you have any issues with Mo Brooks using that terrible assassination attempt that left several shot and Steve Scalise severely injured, as I said? Have any problem with him using that incident, his role in that incident, and his views on the Second Amendment against that backdrop of that incident in a campaign ad for U.S. Senate? Do you have any problem with it?
Did you see it? Did it rub you the wrong way, or was that just politics in Washington and just the world we live in now?
Well, I'll tell you, before I answer, I will provide Mo Brooks' response to those who've expressed concern or disapproval of his use of the Virginia shooting. He is doubled down on it, so he's not chastened by those who disagree with him. He released a campaign video yesterday.
Oh, no.
That includes the ad and extends the conversation on the Second Amendment and includes a little discussion of leftist hypocrisy on the topic.
Does this change your views on the gun situation in America?
The Second Amendment right to bear arms is to help ensure that we always have a republic. But we're not going to get rid of freedom of speech because some people say some really ugly things that hurt other people's feelings. These rights are there to protect Americans, and while each of them has a negative aspect to them, they are fundamental to our being the greatest nation in world history. So no, I'm not changing my position on any of the rights that we enjoy as Americans.
Too often, when tragedy strikes, Democrats and the liberal media blame Republicans for the death of innocence and use it as an opportunity to take away our Second Amendment rights. They blamed Sarah Palin for the Gabby Giffords shooting.
This is the direct link. If you look at that map with the crosshairs, Giffords' name was on there. Yeah.
They blamed the NRA for the murder of innocent children at Sandy Hook.
Do you hold the NRA responsible for what happened in Connecticut?
Yes, I do.
Some Democrats are accusing Republicans of selling guns to ISIS.
But what happened when President Trump won? The liberal media and left lost their minds.
What we've got to do is fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets.
Fight? They rioted at the presidential inauguration. They fantasized about murdering President Trump. And who could miss this? So, by the left standards, who has blood on their hands now? When Democrats and the liberal media invite violence to undermine our republic and try to take away our gun rights, we need tough, true conservatives who will take them on. That's Mo Brooks. Send him to the Senate and send a message to the liberal media. Our Second Amendment rights are not up for debate.
Now,
Wow.
Now, when you've heard the full response from Mo Brooks, including that musical flourish at the end,
God, I got the chills.
does that change your view?
That was really effective. That was, yeah. Now, you know what, Mo Brooks? I don't live in Alabama, but if I did, you'd have my vote.
I'll tell you what, that was so powerful, it's thrown you into a Southern accent.
I know. Well, who is the lady commentating? Hi, in this day and age that we live in.
I think she was the same chick in that Uber car the other night. Yeah, it's very sultry.
I just want you to know, Dan, that I'm going to be talking like this for the rest of the show.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, that's good. So there's, so Mo Brooks on the topic. It's always a little dicey to use a tragedy to make a point, an assassination attempt on. But Mo Brooks was one of the targets of that assassination attempt.
He almost got killed. I mean,
so he's. It's not like he's standing outside of the event trying to capitalize on it. He was
part of
there. He was in danger. He did respond as the ad memorializes. And it's a political campaign, so you use what you've done in the context of what you believe. So I got to say, I don't really have a problem.
Now, if Jeff Sessions, by any chance, is forced out of his cabinet position, can he get his seat back? Can he say, Mo Brooks, yo, Mo?
No, it doesn't.
I got to talk to you.
That's not going to happen.
I know, but I just feel bad for Mr. Sessions. Stop beating up on the nice guy.
I'll tell you, you're really kind of kindred spirit with Alabama conservatives. What's going on this morning?
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today and heat and humidity. Summer is back in full force, a high near 90 degrees. And tonight we're going to have a shower and heavy thunderstorm through here. Tomorrow morning you'll be greeted with a shower and a thunderstorm in the morning. Otherwise, clouds and sun, a high of 83 degrees. Perfect for a day game over at Guaranteed Rates. Now let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. 8094 westbound. It's very heavy from Grant to Kennedy Avenue due to nighttime road construction. The Edens is fine. The Kennedy, not seeing any significant delays yet. Getting a little congestion inbound out of the River O'Toole. The Eisenhower has slow pockets starting at Mannheim on the inbound side. 31 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29. Inbound Stevenson, 39 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 34. Ryan, 20 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57, 24 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Mission 421. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com. If you want some little R&R, courtesy of ChicagoRadioDeals.com, go there and escape to Wisconsin with the overnight stay package for the Schuster Mansion Bed and Breakfast in Milwaukee. You can spend the night in Molly's room. It's a 2-room luxury suite with a private bath and concierge service. It includes breakfast in the Victorian dining room. I can't say concierge. It's got to be pronounced concierge service. You can have breakfast in the Victorian dining room and fresh chocolate chip cookies. Yours for only $85 a couple. And if you need to stay closer to home but want a night out, laugh out loud and be a part of the show at Comedy Sports Improv. Tickets are normally $44 a pair. Find them at CRD for only $22. And be sure to get your car ready for summer cruising with a deal from Fuller's Car Wash of Elk Grove Village. A full-service car wash package includes wash, vacuum, windows, dash, an $18 deal for only $10. So fun and adventure waiting for you only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Building owners and managers. Now is the perfect time of year for a service and maintenance agreement with Waukegan Roofing. Since 1914, Waukegan Roofing has been installing and maintaining roofs you can rely on for all of Chicagoland. Our experienced team of professional service technicians is the right solution for preserving the integrity of your new or existing roofing system for years to come. With your dedicated service technician and our multi-point inspection program, we cover all areas of your roof from early detection to preventative maintenance to repairs and everything in between. We're the licensed commercial roofing contractor you can rely on for all your roofing needs. Building owners and managers, now is the time to prepare your low-slope commercial roof for everything that Mother Nature throws at it this year. Call Waukegan Roofing today for your service and maintenance appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It's absolutely amazing that the combination of these capsules improves your health. It does tell you the value of food and nutrition.
I actually can feel a difference. I really can.
I love the product. It's wonderful. I can't live without it.
It's really helping me. Every time I take it, my body says, thank you.
This is the first winter that I went through that I didn't get a cold.
I love my fruits and veggies. I'm a line dancer, and I just turned 78, and it has made a big difference in my stamina and just my overall well-being, and I have so enjoyed them. I just love taking them and what they do for me.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Do you crave work that matters? 20 years ago, Bob Buford's book Halftime took business leaders from success to significance in their work. That book started a movement and the Halftime Institute. Now, from Institute CEO Dean Nawalny comes the next new powerhouse book, Trade Up. Building on Bob's legacy, Trade Up shows marketplace leaders how to not just make money, but make a difference. If the words smoldering discontent describe you, then Trade Up. Go to halftime.org. That's halftime.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Amy, you used to be in the service industry, right? Like you worked at a Waffle House or something?
No, I didn't work at a Waffle House. I worked at Sports Column in Iowa City, and then I worked at Walter Payton's 34s.
Oh, sure.
And that's
you
where
did.
I met the big dogs, like Lawrence Taylor, I met him, and Scottie Pippen, I met him, and Michael Jordan, of course, Walter Payton. But when I had Scottie Pippen once, and I said to him, hey, let's stop with that slogan, no Pippen tippin', right here, right now.
No Tippin' Pippin.
No Tippin' Pippin. And
Tonight's the night that we get
that
rid of that moniker.
Yeah, we're going to change everything.
And how'd that go?
He gave me a $5 tip, which is
on
really...
a $2,500 tab?
Pretty much. No, on about a $200 tab.
$5?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some quick math.
It's not even...
That's not 20%.
No, it's not. It's not even 10%.
That's not 10%.
No.
That's not 5%.
No. It's okay. Whatever.
Well, since you brought it up, there's this story, too. Since we've heard so many of the stories the other way, I just thought, report on this. Daily Wire reporting story about a waiter in Memphis, dude, who received a racist note in lieu of a tip. on a bill of about $50, African-American couple, they're allegedly, because some of these are false stories too, so I'll apply the same skepticism to this as I've applied to others of this sort. But somebody wrote, they apparently wrote on the receipt, "We don't tip white people, LOL."
We don't tip white people?
Right. And, and one of the reasons I'm skeptical about these stories, regardless of, the race of the waiter versus the race of the patron, is because we live in the era of GoFundMe. And we live in the era where we're so racially charged in our politics, not in our interactions, but in our politics, that these stories get a lot of profile.
Mm-hmm.
So I treat them with skepticism, and this is a good example of why. So somebody started a GoFundMe page for him.
They did?
$7,500 so far.
Are you serious?
So I think
that's got to be more than he makes in 2 years on tips, or maybe even more than that at his restaurant.
Well, so this is the point, right? So if you're an enterprising type, you could...
Oh, you fake news to get a GoFundMe page for you.
Right, and it just takes, a few donations from a little bit of pub to get a few donations from around the country, and all of a sudden, in lieu of, 20% on a $50 tab, you got $7,500. Did you ever get a $7,500 tip?
I did get a $189 tip. Remember the Palombos? The Earth Moves with Palombos?
Sure I do.
This is before I think they spent time and, I don't know if they... I don't know what happened to him, but there were some shady things going on.
So
I gave him a bottle of gave him a bottle of Dom Perignon, and I brought over the 2 glasses in the bottle, and he gave me a $189 tip. So every time he walked in, all the waitresses were clamoring, "I get him this time! No, I get him this time!" So it was great. I walked away happy. And then B.J. Armstrong always tipped very well. But that's because we went to Iowa together, and he knew me.
Yeah, the Iowa
Yeah, so what about your tip? Didn't you get a big tip from a big fish?
Well, I caddied for Michael Jordan out at Chicago Golf Club once, and he gave me $100. And, I mean, we're talking about this is, almost 30 years ago. So that's good. That was great.
That's a huge... How was he? Was he nice?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he wasn't particularly talkative, but he was perfectly nice gentleman.
Who was he playing golf with?
A member back in the day. I don't think he's there anymore. Swain was the member. But
Swain or not the Underhills?
No, it wasn't Judge Schmales, and I wasn't Danny Noonan.
La 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 ka-ching.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Shopping for a new car can be a real pain. It can be intimidating, exhausting, and even make your blood boil. Nobody wants that. What you need is a dealer that helps you get the best vehicle for you and your family while skipping the high-pressure nonsense. That's where Joe Cotton Ford is different. They'll help you find the new Ford car, truck, or SUV that fits your lifestyle and your budget with no hassles, no drama, no pressure sales tactics, period. And that's why Joe Cotton Ford has won the Daily Herald's 2017 Reader's Choice Award. For the 4th year running, they've been recognized for the best auto service for a domestic auto dealer in the region. Now that's a place you want to do business with. At Joe Cotton Ford, you have their word. Your satisfaction is their top priority. Get to Joe Cotton Ford and drive home your new Ford car, truck, or SUV today. Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com. That's joecottonford.com.
I love my Catholic school. I learn about God every day and live my faith by helping others. I also plan to get into the high school of my choice thanks to the challenging academics taught by caring teachers in a nurturing environment.
You just heard my daughter talk about why she loves her Catholic school. And as a parent, I may not be able to control what is happening in our culture, but I can control how my children are educated. I do that by sending them to a Catholic school where they are formed in the image of Jesus Christ so that they have the moral foundation to make the right choices based on the teachings of the Catholic Church. If you want to provide your child with a moral compass to navigate our culture, consider sending him or her to a Catholic school.
Now you can join me at my school. Participating Catholic schools in the Joliet Diocese, in conjunction with the Catholic Education Foundation, are offering transfer grants of $1,500 to elementary school students and $3,000 to high school students who transfer from a public, private, charter, or homeschool. Restrictions apply. For more information, go to weteachmore.com.
Joe, I love you. You gotta calm down.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I hardly ever raise my voice on this show. I don't know. What the hell you're talking about? I never get excited. I never lose my head. What? Why did we let Kevin get through? I never raise my voice, ever.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
My blood pressure, I think, is just fine.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads at the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with our Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. 8094 westbound traffic is jammed. Grant to Kennedy Avenue thanks to nighttime road construction. We're hoping this lifts soon so things can ease a bit there. The eastbound side's fine. No problems to report on the Edens. Kennedy inbound, a little heavy till you get past Canfield. 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound fine at 20. Inbound Eisenhower, 34 minutes, Thorndale to the post office downtown. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound still good. Ryan is 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 22 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Issue 420, traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. It's that time of year when a scorching hot day can pop out of nowhere. The folks at Napa Auto Parts would like to remind you, if you can fry an egg on the sidewalk, you can also fry your car battery. Head to Napa. It'll help you keep your car running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560 for The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, sunshine and some clouds. Warm and more humid, high 88. Mostly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm, low 72. A morning shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, then clouds and sun, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
66 at O'Hare, 69 along Chicago's lakefront. The news a service of Discover Student Loans, figuring out how to cover college costs. Discover Student Loans, one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, zero fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 5:58 in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. And here are the stories that we're following this morning on AM 560, The Answer. Illinois legislators headed for the state capitol for a special session on school funding, but there could be empty seats as some Chicago lawmakers announced they're not coming. Illinois State Police are marking Illinois Speed Awareness Day today with education and serious enforcement. A third man being held without bond in the wounding of a Chicago police officer during a shootout following a store robbery last week. The University of Illinois is set to become the second Big Ten school to ban participation by college athletes with a history of sexual or domestic abuse. Wilson Contreras drove in 4. Cubs beat the White Sox 7-2 on Tuesday, and Warriors guard Stephon Curry signs his $200 million NBA contract overnight. Currently 66 at O'Hare. WIND Chicago News Time is 6.
He got an ovation delivering a key vote to start the debate on health care. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but Senator John McCain, returning from a brain cancer diagnosis, lectured his colleagues, saying they're getting nothing done.
Stop listening to the bombastic loudmouths on the radio and television and the internet.
Well, last night, the first big amendment to the bill to replace Obamacare failed.
We're headed for a series of amendments over the next few days being offered on the Senate floor. One proposal that seems to be gaining favor is called the skinny repeal. You're going to hear more about that. It does a few things that most Republicans want, which is simply killing the individual mandate and scrapping Obamacare taxes like the medical device tax.
It's Fox's Griff Jenkins. No Democrats support this, saying Republicans are going to hurt the sick and poor. But President Trump says stop resisting.
They have to do, finally, what's right for the American people, but probably we'll do it ourselves.
The president at a rally in Youngstown, Ohio last night where he did not bring up the attorney general. He's still angry at Jeff Sessions for recusing himself from the Russia investigation and for not doing enough to deal with intelligence leaks. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Attorney General Sessions is getting ready to announce several criminal leak investigations. Fox News has learned the official announcement has been in the works for some time and will likely come sometime in the next week. This as the public standoff continues between Sessions and President Trump, who, during a news conference yesterday, again expressed displeasure with Sessions.
I'm very disappointed with the Attorney General, but we will see what happens. Time will tell.
A source close to Sessions says he has no intention of resigning. Dave.
Rachel, former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort will not go under oath today at the Senate Judiciary Committee in the Russia probe. His subpoena was withdrawn last night as Manafort provided documents, and they work out a time for him to be interviewed by the committee. Fox News, fair and balanced.
This summer, everybody is talking about one person. And on August 22nd, we want to hear what you have to say about President Donald Trump. Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump as he welcomes Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson to the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Join the debate as they discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly moments of the Trump administration. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. Sponsored in part by Storlock and by Best Dental Group.
The number one fear amongst retirees today is running out of money in retirement. And that's with good reason, because the last thing you want to be is 75 years old, full of life, and flat broke. Hi, this is Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. here on AM 560. Today, we're living longer than ever before, so your retirement savings has to last 2, 3, even 4 decades. So how do you safely generate more income in retirement without risking everything you've worked for in the stock market? And what can you do to help ensure you never run out of money in retirement? The answer's in our free retirement income planning packet. It's packed full of little-known strategies on how to generate income in retirement, getting the most from Social Security, minimize taxes, and reduce the risk of outliving your income. You don't need to take unnecessary risks to generate income in retirement, and I'll prove it to you. You have a lot more options to generate income in retirement. You just didn't know they existed until now. Call the Alpha Wealth Group, 630-519-4742, right now to receive your free report. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 4242 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 4242.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, can I still take advantage of today's low rates? Is it still a good time to refinance? The answer is yes. Now's a great time to call Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.19%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Trump in his element yesterday, the rally in the Valley in Youngstown, Ohio. And boy, it's a little bit of everything with Trump. Covered a lot of issues, some where he sounded very scripted. Maybe he's kind of memorized some modules of the speech on various topics, and other times he said he was more presidential than everyone except for Abraham Lincoln. Well, he played to the crowd. There was the customary braggadocio. There were protesters too, and that's always a fun part.
They're pointing to a protester.
With a Russian flag.
If you don't point, nobody's even going to know he's here. Weak voice. Weak voice. Don't worry.
He was low energy like Jeb Bush.
Boy, he's a young one. He's going back home to mommy. Oh, is he in trouble? He's in trouble. He's in trouble. And I'll bet his mommy voted for us, right?
He just seems so comfortable. He loves it. He's a great campaigner.
Is there anything funnier than when Trump talks about somebody's mommy? It infantilizes them. I got to admit, I get a guilty pleasure from that. But the real purpose for Trump being out on the hustings is, to speak directly to the folks.
I'm here this evening to cut through the fake news filter and to speak straight to the American people. Fake news. Fake news. Boy, oh boy, what people. Is there any place that's more fun, more exciting, and safer than a Trump rally?
Yeah, I don't. Maybe a biker rally up in Sturgeon Bay. So here's the other thing that Trump does with these rallies, though, is he makes the kind of broad appeal on shared values. It's always interesting. Listen to this flourish.
This has been a difficult week for the media because I forced them to travel with us all around the country and spend time with tens of thousands of proud Americans who believe in defending our values, our culture, our borders, our civilization, and our great American way of life.
That's the Make America Great Again. I mean, that 25 seconds is kind of Make America Great Again encapsulated, right? Well, for more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by our brother in sound, if you will, the sage of South Central, the host of the Larry Elder Show, which is coming to, which is here, and it's 7 to 9 p.m. That's going to be the time that you can hear Larry Elder on our station. And he was also out at the White House the other day for Salem Day at the White House, so maybe a little bit of an inside look. Pleased to have our friend Larry Elder back on the program. Larry, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Well, Dan and Amy, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, what about Trump and the rally yesterday before we get to Sessions and Obamacare and the like? Is getting out on the hustings the highest, best use of Trump's time?
I think so. It seems to energize him. I had no problem with the stuff that he said. I mean, obviously the stuff about Abraham Lincoln was hysterical. That's how he is. And of course, something really important happened yesterday, and that is that Mitch McConnell got that procedural bill done, and we're going to have a debate now on the floor of the Senate on repeal and replace. A lot of people thought that wasn't even going to happen. And remember Michael Moore after Trump got elected? I mean, this guy literally thought that Trump was going to serve no more than a few weeks, that ultimately he was going to resign, he was going to be bored, he was going to just voluntarily leave office. A number of sensible people, if you want to call Michael Moore sensible, seriously made that prediction. Now It's been 6 months. The man is still here, and he's not going anywhere.
But he overshadows himself. He had a great rally last night, but then, he had this standoff with his attorney general. So do you think Sessions is going to quit, or will he be fired, or how do you think it's going to end?
Amy, it seems to me if Sessions were going to quit, he would have quit by now. I don't know why he hasn't quit. It was pretty insulting what Donald Trump said to him. And this guy, Sessions, was the first senator to come out and support him. He really stuck out his neck for Donald Trump, and I thought Donald Trump should not have thrown him under the bus like that. That said, Sessions has not resigned. And I spoke with a number of officials yesterday, Dan and Amy, including the EPA guy, Pruitt. I spoke with the Secretary of Labor, Acosta. I spoke with the OMB guy, Mulvaney. All of them seemed positive. They seemed optimistic. This so-called beleaguered White House, I saw none of that. Now, of course, these guys were interviewing, and they weren't going to say, "Oh my God, we feel under siege, we feel beleaguered," but they certainly didn't feel that way. And nobody's going to care about any of this stuff. What he said about Jeff Sessions, what he said about Abraham Lincoln, comments he's made about the media. No one's going to care if he succeeds in getting us to 3 or 4% GDP, and I think that's going to happen.
Well, to that point, what do you think is the best play for Republicans in the Senate as they try to navigate something out of the Senate that they can then conference with the House on and move to the president's desk? Because a failure to do that really jeopardizes that prospect you have of 3 to 4% GDP growth.
I think you're right. I was speaking with the OMB guy, as I mentioned, and we talked about what would happen if he didn't do something about repeal and replace. And I said it would be akin to George Herbert Walker Bush breaking the no new taxes pledge. He broke his pledge. He got hammered with it. It's one of the reasons, probably the primary reason, that he got defeated for re-election. I think that if they don't do something, And the something could be something that will be Obamacare light, something that keeps some of the architecture of Obamacare. I think that's probably about the best we can expect. But something has to be put on his desk. He's got to sign something. Otherwise, I can just imagine the campaign slogan. They promised, they didn't deliver. It's now our time. That would be the line, and it will be a persuasive line.
So you were at the White House yesterday for Salem Day. Just explain what that was and why Dan and I weren't there.
Yeah, we know, right.
I said, where are Dan and Amy?
Yeah.
And they said
who?
The ticket must have gotten lost. The ticket must have gotten lost.
No, we were invited, but that's okay. Well, that's inside baseball. We don't want to discuss and air our dirty laundry. But how was it yesterday? And what did you learn?
It was a lot of fun. What I learned is that the White House briefing room is really, really tiny. Have you guys ever been there?
No.
Yeah, I have.
It looked like a phone booth.
Yeah.
Honestly, where Spicer and Huckabee Sanders stands and does the press conference. I thought it was a really kind of a big room. It really looks like a closet. These guys are really on top of each other. It's amazing.
That's going to make Scaramucci look bigger when he's at the podium.
That's right. So I took a picture of myself up there pointing to somebody saying next question, and I posted it on Twitter.
There you go.
I don't think it's suitable.
Yeah, you better be careful. That could be foreshadowing if this comm team doesn't work out.
Hey, you never know. If my phone rings, I shall answer.
Well, what about the new comms team? Speaking of somebody who's in the business of communicating and persuading, was it time to make that change and go with an unconventional pick, somebody that doesn't technically have a background in political comms like Scaramucci to run the comm shop?
I like Anthony Scaramucci. I like Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I also like Sean Spicer. These are kind of personnel changes that the president makes. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I don't know what it is about Sean that he didn't like, but these are the kind of personnel changes that happen. Let's remember, Obama went through 4 secretaries of defense, for crying out loud, within the first 5 years, and 2 of them wrote very scathing books, and one of them gave a scathing interview to a magazine, all talking about the chaotic and inconsistent foreign policy of Obama. That's a big deal, and nobody called that Obama White House beleaguered. This is all, inside baseball stuff. You got to figure out who you want. It's going to take a while. None of these people have any real political experience, so it's going to take a while. But I'm okay with the decision that they've made.
I wanted to get your take on this kind of larger issue. We played the clip of Trump talking about fighting for our culture, our civilization, this great American country of ours. And it really dovetails nicely with Walter Williams' latest column, Western Values Are Superior, which is a verboten statement in academia, certainly, maybe in other parts of the country these days as well. And he references Peter Beinart, who's one of the quote-unquote lefty thinkers, a piece that he wrote in the Atlantic magazine after Trump's speech in Poland. And Beinart saying Trump referred 10 times to the West and 5 times to our civilization, as he did last night in Youngstown. His white nationalist supporters will understand exactly what he means. So Walter Williams, who's, of course, an African-American gentleman, when Walter Williams says Western values are superior, is he telegraphing to white nationalist supporters, too?
Oh, for crying out loud. Western values are superior. I remember years ago after 9/11, the Italian prime minister made a similar comment, got hammered, and took it back. What are you talking about? Of course our values are superior. The idea of a government that is limited, the idea that there's a separation between church and state, between mosque and state, the idea that people are governed by the consent of the governed, these are new Western values that before the United States no one had ever seen before. Of course we have a superior culture. Look at the prosperity of Western countries versus the prosperity or lack thereof of many other countries with different cultures. The idea of rule of law, of orderly transition of power, as I said before, limited government, a federalist system. It is a wonderful evolution of human history. Let's remember, for the most part of human history, we've had domination, we've had tyranny, we've had governments that were monarchies. Of course, Western values are superior. I don't even know why this needs to be debated.
Now, yesterday you were in Washington, D.C. on a pretty significant day, the return of Senator John McCain to the Senate floor to take the vote. I don't know if you listened to his speech, but he talked about, don't be brainwashed by radio personalities, by television personalities. But he also said we're not the president's subordinates. Do you agree with that?
Of course I agree with that. And I've made criticisms about the president when I think the president needs to be criticized. For example, I don't like the idea of protectionism. I'm not keen on the idea of $1 trillion so-called stimulus program. I think that we had something like that under Obama, and if it's done by a Democrat, we call it pork. When it's done by a Republican, we call it investment. So there's some things that I'm not happy about, but for the most part, I think that we got what we hoped, and he ain't Hillary. We're not talking about another Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court. We're not talking about porous borders. We're not talking about a so-called comprehensive approach to immigration. He has delivered.
I've got to address the loyal opposition, the resistance, as it were, Larry. The Democrats came out yesterday with a whole new policy agenda. It's not a new deal. It's a better deal, and the better deal is to replace old-fashioned capitalism that has led to that has been a detriment to the consumer, according to Senate Minority Leader Pagliacci and the gang, and move towards a more government-centric, managed economy that is equitable and fair and just. Your reaction to the big new agenda that the Democrats rolled out yesterday?
Yeah, the big new agenda is the big old agenda: tax, spend, and regulate. They want a higher minimum wage. They want to do more about so-called inequality. They want to take money out of this pocket and put it into that pocket. Surprise, surprise. What they've done is double down. They've gone hard left, which is exactly what I thought they would do. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, this is the base of their party. And as long as that's their approach, they're going to lose elections. So I couldn't be happier that this is what they want to do. I hope they run Maxine Waters in 2020.
Speaking of, well, yeah, sure.
That would be interesting. That would be fun.
Oh, yeah, it should.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Go Maxine. Go Maxine. I'll contribute to her political action committee.
How about
I'm going to send the check?
How about Sanders and Waters, or Waters and Sanders? How about the
even better?
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, it's be like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
They might be able to carry Massachusetts, or at least some counties there.
Speaking of the Democrats, while there is the great desire by Democrats for all Trump and his family members and all Republicans to be arrested, they're actually arrests being affected on the other side. Debbie Wasserman Schultz's former IT aide, this rather enigmatic figure named Imran Awan, Pakistani-born IT aide for Wasserman Schultz, and that has been defended for months and months on end by Wasserman Schultz, by Representative Meeks from New York, saying that the FBI investigation into him was a result of Islamophobia. Well, he was arrested at the airport yesterday after his wife has fled the country a couple of months earlier, and it comes on the heels of the FBI seizing smashed hard drives from his home. What's going on there?
What could go wrong there? Yeah.
It sounds to me like somebody is hiding something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And since
we don't know what was on those hard drives, I mean, it could have been
since we're talking about right, of course, yeah,
of course.
It
family
was,
photos.
It was his yoga schedule. It was his Hello Kitty diary, like James Comey.
That's right.
So Wasserman Schultz, let's just reflect the record. She was the Democrat National Committee chairman when the hacking took place. Her IT aide is arrested by the FBI. Smashed hard drives are recovered. Doesn't this potentially have a lot of relevance to the overall Russian investigation and who really was engaged in illegality?
Just a little bit. Remember, Julian Assange has always insisted that he did not get the email from the DNC via any kind of Russian operative or a state actor. It might very well be the case that some of this stuff came from this guy or from Debbie Wasserman's team. Who knows? Anyway, it is certainly something that ought to be investigated. It reminds me of the double standard that we've had before in the mid-'60s. Remember Chinagate? Those Asian business people that gave the DNC hundreds of thousands of dollars illegally. There was an investigation. The FBI headed up by Louis Freeh. And Louis Freeh told the then AG Janet Reno, if there is any reason for a special counsel, it is right now. She refused to appoint one. There was a guy named Charles Labella who headed up a task force to investigate this. He wrote Janet Reno a memo and said the same thing. You need to appoint an independent counsel. Nobody did. She refused. and pretty much the scandal went away. It's a kind of double standard and selective outrage and hypocrisy that ticks people off. And this is why so many people circling the wagons around Donald Trump and basically put their hands over their ears and eyes and mouth and say, I don't want to hear it. You guys didn't give a rip about Chinagate. You didn't give a rip about Hillary and the clear violation of the Espionage Act. You haven't investigated, to my knowledge, the Clinton Foundation. So I'm sorry. Our guy does something and you guys go ballistic. That's a double standard, and I'm not having it.
He is the sage of South Central, and you can hear his wisdom on these airwaves, 7 to 9 p.m. Host of the Larry Elder Show. Larry Elder, which is perfect that the show is named Larry Elder Show, and his name is Larry Elder. It works out seamlessly.
It makes it easy for me to remember.
Exactly. Larry, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Anytime, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
And not only did Awan's wife leave early, she left with $12,000 in cash in her pocket. And the Democratic Party has given him millions of dollars, him and his family members,
about $4
over
million
the years.
on taxpayer money that they've paid as salaries for he and his family members. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Colossal mistake there. Hey, plenty of sunshine today. Some clouds, warm and humid, a high near 90 degrees. Tonight for the Crosstown Classic, which moves over to guaranteed rate. It's going to be cloudy, warm. Hopefully showers will begin after the game. Thunderstorms likely as well. And then tomorrow morning, a shower or thunderstorm. Otherwise, clouds and sun by the afternoon for the fourth game of the series, a high of 83 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's the one and only Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Good morning. Inbound Kennedy. Got scattered delays now. It's 23 minutes, so here to downtown. Outbound 21. Eden's inbound a little congested approaching the junction. Otherwise, it's clear. Inbound Eisenhower delays start at Manheim, 44 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 34. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 35. Ryan, 31 minutes already, 95th to downtown. I-57. It is a 20-minute drive from I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 18. Lakeshore Drive. Fine right now. The new ramps there, after all the construction, are set to reopen sometime today. Northbound Tri-State heavy 95th to LaGrange Road, and from the Reagan all the way up to Lawrence, there's a new lane shift there, and it's causing a big backup. 8094 eastbound, slow Calumet Avenue decline. Westbound, little heavy climb to Kennedy. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, I love MyPillow so much in the Go Anywhere MyPillow that I brought my Go Anywhere MyPillow with me to 11 different countries this month alone. I love it because Mike Lindell taught me this. He's the owner and manufacturer and creator of MyPillow. He said, bring your Go Anywhere pillow, put it on top of your hotel pillow, and it'll be just like you are at home. And it did work. So here's what you do. You go to MyPillow.com and take advantage of this 50% discount off the 4-pack, which is 2 premium MyPillows, the ones you leave on your bed, and 2 of those Go Anywhere MyPillows. I love it because you can wash them and dry them. You don't have to take them to the cleaners. There's a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. And you got to love the 50% off the 4-pack. 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. Made in America. Support American made. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, A-M-Y, or call this number, 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My name is Elisa French. I'm a Chicago ad executive. I have completed 3 no-cost refinances with Townstone Financial and with Barry Sterner over the past 15 years. I've always received outstanding interest rates. I think the best interest rates that are out there. My husband and I, have never paid closing costs. They've always made the process really simple, really easy. So if you really are looking for somebody you can trust, call Barry.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
Call Grumweedy.
if your roof isn't right after it's stormy and shingles are curly,
Call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. You know, a lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
call Grumweedy.
For your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
How would you like to make an extra $1,200 to $7,800 monthly safely investing in real estate tax lien certificates? Hi, I'm Tony Martinez, co-founder of USTLA, and over the last 20 years, I've been investing in tax lien certificates making 16% to 25% secured fixed returns while acquiring highly discounted properties mortgage-free. Now, I want to show you how to with my 50-page revealing report called Proof: Why Tax Lien Certificates Are the Superior Vehicle for Your Financial Success. In my report, you'll learn where to find tax lien certificates, how to safely earn 16 to 25% secured fixed returns, and how to acquire valuable real estate at huge discounts mortgage-free. Now, for a limited time, I'll give anyone that calls a free copy of my powerful new report.
Call 800-220-1788 now to get Tony's free report. Call 800-220-1788 in the next 30 minutes, and Tony will give you 2 free tickets to his live training coming to the Chicago area, a $300 value. Call 800-220-1788. That's 800-220-1788 for your free report now.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy and...
Don't do it. Don't do it.
We got another Russian hacking. A couple of Russian pranksters hacked into the Jerky Boys' act.
Yeah, aren't they like considered the jerky boys of Russia?
I guess.
That's what I heard. And they attacked somebody that is near and dear to my heart, and that's former governor of Texas, Rick Perry.
I know. You especially like him with the glasses.
Oh, he's so
make him look so intellectual.
And he dances really well too. I was a big,
that's right. Yeah.
I actually called in for him. And David Ross, but I called in. Those are the only times I've called into Dancing with the Stars.
Well, it's great that Yakov Smirnoff will have a new opening act in Branson, but here's the problem. Rick Perry's the energy secretary.
Yes.
And he had a 22-minute phone call with a man he thought was the prime minister of Ukraine, and it turned out to be these two Doomkovs from Russia.
Weren't they talking about alternative energy? And he gave a serious answer. And
yeah,
it's so embarrassing. I don't even want to look.
They were talking about new energy, that new fuel made from alcohol and manure. And
and he didn't realize he was being pranked.
He said he wondered if Ukraine could get he talked about that, and he said he would, take that under advisement. Wondered if Ukraine could get a cut rate deal on U.S. cola exports. And Perry said negotiation is always possible. We look forward to bringing some oil and gas interest to the Ukraine, Perry said during the call, and so on and so forth. 22 minutes. To some extent, I don't blame Perry. I mean, if these guys could pass off the
well, somebody set up the conversation. I mean, the phone call. So one of his advisors or communication director.
So who set it up and, verifying with, like, the Ukrainian government that...
Right, that these guys are legit. But he did grow up
Yeah.
a farm. We could leave him alone.
I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm.
The Jerky Boys seem to like that story. The Russian Jerky Boys.
Maybe he was still on his back pain medication.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know what should have tipped him off when they referred to him, the Energy Secretary of the United States, as Sizzle Chest? That should have tipped them off that maybe this wasn't the Ukrainian president.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Andy McCarthy from NRO, former federal prosecutor, about the fate of one Jeff Sessions at 6:36.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
67 degrees. We have some clouds this morning. Winds out of the south at 7 in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Senate debate on Republican plans to repeal and replace Obamacare. Pick up again today after a procedural vote yesterday was scheduled to open debate and passed. The Senate held its first vote on a version of a GOP plan to replace Obamacare. It needed 60 votes to pass. Only 43 voted in favor of it. President Trump says today's Senate vote to start debate on legislation once again was very important.
I want to congratulate American people because we're going to give you great health care. And we're going to get rid of Obamacare, which should have been, frankly, terminated long ago. It's been a disaster for the American people.
President Trump does not accept the notion as well that he is letting Attorney General Jeff Sessions twist in the wind.
Very disappointed with the Attorney General, but we will see what happens. Time will tell.
In a White House news conference, the president saying he is still looking at Sessions' future. Uber is looking to change its image after taking some heavy public relations shots that resulted in its CEO resigning. The ride-hailing service is launching what it calls 180 days of change, a phased effort to improve both customer support and help and retain drivers. Authorities in Japan this morning say a woman going through a divorce broke into her now ex-husband's apartment and took out her anger on his multi-million-dollar violin collection. This actually happened back in 2014, but the woman was just arrested after she returned to the country late yesterday. She's accused of destroying 54 violins and bows, including one instrument worth $500,000 alone. Illinois lawmakers are due back at the State House in Springfield at noon today for a special session. But in a bit of political theater, there could be some empty seats as some Chicago lawmakers have announced they're not coming. Members of a joint House and Senate committee questioned officials, grilling them yesterday as the DCFS went before the lawmakers over the April death of 17-month-old Samaje Crosby of Joliet. A Southern Illinois doctor will stay in jail just a bit longer. He waits to be sentenced on an attempted kidnapping case, and he awaits a murder trial. Judge yesterday delayed Brian Burns' sentencing until next month. Burns is facing prison time for a plot to kidnap the Saline County State's attorney because the Saline County State's attorney was prosecuting Burns for the murder of his wife. Wilson Contreras drove in 4 runs. Cubs beat the White Sox 7-2. The news, a service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs? Discover Student Loans, one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, 0 fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the GOP is fighting a tough battle.
I'm distressed because the Republican Party is up against the greatest addiction in the country, addiction to benefits. The drug is benefits. You become so addicted to it that it becomes impossible to change. Impossible. This is how governments collapse.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Attention, it is illegal to text and drive. So if you're experiencing hair loss and you want a permanent solution, please pull over now, because an incredible offer that could give you your hair back is just one text away. Bosley is the world's most experienced hair restoration expert, always pioneering the latest technology. And now, we're giving everyone who texts the word GROW to 543-543 an absolutely free information kit that reveals just how easy and affordable this permanent solution really is. Don't wait. When you text GROW to 543-543, we'll also give you a gift certificate for $250 off. Millions of men and women have come to Bosley for a permanent solution to hair loss. So pull over now and see for yourself how great your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit. Text GROW to 543-543. Plus, get a free gift certificate. This amazing offer is just one text away. GROW to 543-543.
6:36. The news is also a service of Napa Auto Parts. It's that time of year. A scorching hot day can pop out of nowhere, so the folks at Napa would like to remind you that if you can fry an egg on the sidewalk, you can also fry your car's battery. Head to Napa, where they'll keep your car running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. Sky will get you to work or wherever you're going on time in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. 8094. The heavier delays are eastbound now from Calumet Avenue to Klein Avenue. Westbound still just a little heavy. Klein to Kennedy after some early morning work. Aiden's 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 20 to Kennedy. 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 26. And Mount Eisenhower. Delays start at Manheim. 45 minutes. Thorndale to downtown outbound 34. Mount Stevenson 49 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 41. Ryan is a 31-minute drive from 95th to downtown, and traffic at the service of Cece's. Now at Cece's, bring the party home this summer with 3 medium one-topping pizzas to go for just $4 each. Only at Cece's at participating locations for a limited time. Purchase minimum of 3 pizzas. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sunshine and some clouds this morning. Warm and humid this afternoon, 88. We're heading toward a humid evening with showers and a heavier thunderstorm rolling into the area, a low of 72. 68 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Healthcare is not a right. Food is not a right. A job is not a right. In America, these are not rights. We'll talk about it when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So yesterday, before his rally in the Valley in Youngstown, Ohio, Trump in a presser with the Lebanese president was asked about Jeff Sessions, since he's been tweeting about him and in a rather disparaging fashion. And here's what President Trump had to say about his attorney general.
But I am disappointed in the attorney general. He should not have recused himself almost immediately after he took office. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me prior to taking office, and I would have quite simply picked somebody else. So I think that's a bad thing, not for the president, but for the presidency. I think it's unfair to the presidency, and that's the way I feel. Thank you.
Said time will tell in terms of Sessions' fate, as time always does. You know my view on this, that Sessions was right to recuse himself, that Sessions couldn't have telegraphed that he would recuse himself because the real issue wasn't raised until his confirmation hearing. So Trump is being either forgetful about the timeline or disingenuous about what Sessions could have done prior to his nomination. And Trump's behavior towards his attorney general is unhelpful, both as it relates to the Russian investigation as well as it relates to his political capital on the Hill for his policy agenda, because Sessions is rightly a well-respected public official in the eyes and minds of conservatives, and frankly, to a large extent, across the aisle.
And according to Jeff Sessions, chief of staff, he's not going anywhere. He is not going to be resigning anytime soon.
That's right. For more on this topic, I'm not a federal prosecutor,
Well, you could be one.
Well, no, I couldn't because I don't want to be. But Andy McCarthy was in New York, and now he is, of course, the contributing editor at National Review, who writes on these topics. One of the preeminent voices on these topics in terms of people that you must read to understand things like the Russian investigation and other such legal matters. Andy McCarthy joins us again. Andy, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Dan, Amy, thanks so much for having me.
So Trump's disappointment with Jeff Sessions, and two items in particular. One, not aggressive enough pursuing criminal leaks. Two, of course, as you heard, the failure to tell Trump he was going to recuse himself on the Russian matter.
Well, I think Trump is acting abominably, but unfortunately we've come to expect that. He's completely wrong. I don't think Sessions should have recused himself at the time and to the extent that he did either. But that said, first of all, we don't know whether the Justice Department is investigating the leaks and investigating the Clinton Foundation, for example, and other things, because we're not supposed to know that. And if Trump really cared about that, he would keep his big old trap shut, because when a president puts pressure on his subordinates to return charges, what ends up happening is he gives the defendants ammunition to attack the indictment when it comes down, because they can say that they were targeted for prosecution politically rather than because the evidence compelled it. So to the extent there are investigations, which we shouldn't know if there are, because they're not supposed to talk about investigations, Trump is undermining them with his comments. And as far as whether Sessions should have warned him ahead of time, he's the president. He's supposed to be this genius executive. Why didn't he ask?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know everything that Sessions was dealing with at the time that Sessions was brought on and when he was nominated. But we certainly knew about the Russia investigation. Trump was briefed on the Russia investigation in early January, weeks before he took office. Why didn't he ask Sessions if he was concerned about it?
I want to go back to the first part, though, the leaks. One thing we do know, as much as the Democrats want every member of the Trump family in cuffs, the only person in cuffs right now in this whole saga is Debbie Wasserman Schultz's IT guy, this Imran Awan, and this is after his wife fled the country a couple of months ago, and the FBI seized smashed hard drives from his home prior to his arrest yesterday. Of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was the DNC head at the time that this was all occurring, the election meddling and the hacking and all the allegations flying back and forth. So there's some evidence that over at FBI and ostensibly Justice, they are pursuing the Russian meddling and not limiting it to just Trump and Trump associates. So I would think that would buoy President Trump's spirits on the topic a bit.
Well, I don't know that one thing has anything to do with the other, but certainly that looks like it's a really bad case, and it looks like, to me, at least from the accounts I've read, that they should be looking at Debbie Wasserman Schultz for obstructing the investigation. I mean, it's early, and we'll see what happened, but the amount of money that was paid to this one group of relatives is just staggering compared to other people in Washington.
I know. What did they do with $4 million? I mean, what did they get for $4 million? It seems crazy.
Well, they can get a lot more in Pakistan, can't they? I mean,
yes.
As I understand it, he was allowed to wire close to $300,000 before they popped him. So
that's right.
You know, he goes to the credit union, or I guess wherever they do the wire transfers in Congress, and he tells them he wants to wire $300,000, and they ask him why, and he says, funeral expenses.
Really?
Well, that's not a reason that you're allowed. That's not a reason for that. We don't allow $300,000 to get wired for that. So they look at the website while the phone call is going on, and he says, "Hold on for a second. And then there's a little pause, and he comes back and he says, "Oh yeah, purchase of property." And of course, the guy in Washington says, "Oh, okay, purchase of property, that's fine."
And then customs agents lets his wife get on the plane with $12,000 in cash.
Well, for the funeral.
Oh yeah, that alleged funeral, or maybe it's for a land purchase.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. Now I have to check the statute. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but I thought that $10,000, and it might be $5,000 in cash, was the most that you were allowed to bring back and forth over the border without filing a required
disclosure. Yeah.
So if they let her take $12,000, and that's higher than the statutory amount, they should have stopped her. I don't know why they didn't, but I don't want to accuse anyone of doing anything wrong because I haven't looked at the statute.
Hey, I want to skip back to a subject about President Trump. I just wanted to ask you real quick what you think his end game is. I mean, does he want to replace Sessions with an AG who will end the Russian investigation?
Well, I think he wants the Russian investigation to be over, and he clearly wants Sessions out. And I think that he's not he doesn't have the courage to do it himself. In part because he doesn't like to fire people in general. Everybody who's been fired has been fired by somebody else. He only does firing on television and situation comedy or whatever it was that he was an actor in. But I think he realizes that unlike some of the people who've been let go, Sessions is critically important to the conservative aspect of his base. And there are a lot of conservative Republicans who are very reluctant and remain very reluctant about Trump, who swallowed hard and supported him, or at least got behind him for the election, in part precisely because Jeff Sessions was there. He gave them great credibility with that segment of his base. So I don't think he wants to fire Sessions, even though he wants Sessions gone. So what he's trying to do is bruise him up a little bit so that he's taken down a notch or two with that part of the base, and then make it so unpleasant that Sessions on his own decides he doesn't need this in his life anymore and leaves. But as you said before, it doesn't sound like that's going to happen.
Well, it's bizarre, though, because, number one, there's a bit of a delayed reaction, so this has been a slow burn, which is sort of unusual for Trump. Number two, what's he going to do? He's going to go get some other attorney general who then is going to do his bidding. Nobody's going to take that job and do that. Go fire Mueller as your first order of business. Nobody would do that. They'd destroy themselves and their credibility, and it would just create more of a firestorm.
Yeah, how would they get him confirmed?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, he's already got 48 votes in lockstep against him on this, and if he burns Sessions, that's going to anger
at least
half of the Republicans. I don't see how, and if the whole point is to, now I should be clear about this, he wants the special counsel investigation over. I think the intermediate step here, and one that he should be pushing for, is it should be narrowed, because the way that Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, assigned Mueller was in violation of the regulations, which call for the Justice Department to specify what crimes the special counsel is permitted to investigate. He didn't do that, so Mueller's on this boundless fishing expedition, and if Trump is angry about that, he's got a reason to be. But the way you deal with that is not to get rid of the investigation, which he can't do anyway. Whatever Mueller has done will be given to the congressional committees.
Right.
So, I think what you have here is a situation where he's not going to be able to confirm somebody to replace Sessions if the point is to get rid of the special counsel, but he should work on trying to get the investigation narrowed.
Yeah, that's good, excellent points, which is why we have Andy McCarthy on the show. Andy McCarthy, former federal prosecutor, chief assistant U.S. attorney in Manhattan, now a contributing editor at National Review. Andy, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. Take care. Have a great day.
You too. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, the The weather.
The weather's coming up right now.
Sorry, we've had some bad news delivered this morning. Sunshine, some clouds, warm and humid, a high today of 88 degrees. Tonight, rain and heavier thunderstorms. Hopefully they can get in the Crosstown Classic, which is a guaranteed rate field at 7 o'clock. Dan, you're going to that game. And then tomorrow, when Dan gives me and my boys tickets to the game, we're going to have a shower or thunderstorm in the morning. Otherwise, it'll be clear by the time the game starts at 1:20. Plenty of sunshine and a high of 83 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Eden's inbound delay started 24 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 21. Kennedy, it's 30 minutes, so Hare to downtown, but it takes longer in the express. Locals are quicker right now by at least 5 minutes. Outbound 33 minutes from downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 36. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 43 from the Tri-State. Outbound 44 minutes to 355. On Ryan, 31 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 20 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State slow, 95th to LaGrange Road. And jammed Roosevelt to Lawrence. There's a new lane shift there with the road work. The other tollways are okay. Northwest Indiana's fine. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. A Fed decision on interest rates, new data on oil inventories, and new home sales. Those stories next.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know the credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people, they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-975-5115. 800-975-5115. That's 800-975-5115.
The Fed's policymaking committee concludes a two-day meeting today. Few fireworks are expected when it announces its decision on interest rates. Most investors expect the next rate increase to come later this year or in 2018. The Energy Information Administration provides the latest weekly information on petroleum inventories today. We'll also get the latest on new home sales. South Korea's new leadership has laid out a new 5-year economic plan that promises to boost incomes and improve the country's sagging social safety net. An activist investor has bought a meaningful share in Barnes & Noble Incorporated and is urging the bookseller to sell itself. And Taco Bell is testing a new service that allows users of the ride-sharing app Lyft to add a Taco Bell stop to their ride with a click of a button. Please tune in to Lou Dobbs Tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor, and Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Barron, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Now, Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer, in addition to masonry and roofing. Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor for brick, masonry, roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any other type of remodeling or construction. You will deal directly with owner Joe Barron. Trust me, I've called him. I've met with him about a construction project. He picks up the phone when you call, and he really is the best. So call Joe Barron at Dependable Construction. Mention AM 560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091 or visit tuckpointchicago.net. That's tuckpointchicago.net.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. the needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've been on vitamins, I've been on all kinds of supplements, but nothing has come close to your product. The difference between before I started the product and afterwards is like night and day. I do have more energy, and that was what I really was after. I mean, I get all these benefits. It's wonderful. I had no energy at all, and I thought, how can I live this way? I do one little chore, and then I have to sit and rest. And I find that I get through the day pretty well, and I really have more energy. I look in the mirror and I say, I think I feel more alive. I think I look more alive.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Yestival, starring Yes, fresh from their induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, one of the most influential bands of all time. Saturday, August 19th, 7 p.m., Grand Victoria Casino, with performances by Todd Rundgren and Carl Palmer of ELP Legacy, featuring Carl's tribute to Keith Emerson and Greg Lake. Tickets on sale now at gvctickets.com. Part of the Grand Victoria Summer Concert Series. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you crave work that matters? 20 years ago, Bob Buford's book, Halftime, took business leaders from success to significance in their work. That book started a movement, and the Halftime Institute. Now, from Institute CEO Dean Nawalny comes the next new powerhouse book, Trade Up. Building on Bob's legacy, Trade Up shows marketplace leaders how to not just make money, but make a difference. If the word smoldering discontent describe you, then trade up. Go to halftime.org. That's halftime.org.
Hello, this is financial advisor Dale Bradley speaking to you from the Bradley Investment Center in Evanston. Have you ever made an investment through one of those large national brokerage firms? Have you ever felt like just a number? Well, at Bradley Investment Center, our goal is not to be the largest practice, it's simply to be the best by establishing and keeping true personal relationships. Visit us at BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. That's BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. Or better yet, stop by and say hello. We are at the corner of Central and Central Park in beautiful Northwest Evanston. We strive to be the center of all your family's investment needs. For more information, call the Bradley Investment Center at 855-940-8700. That's 855-940-8700.
Bradley Investment Center. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. Bradley Investment Center is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy's show, not to be callous, but Rom killed your cat.
Well, I got a text message. I'm not going to cry, but a woman asking me if I have a cat named Crazy. I said yes, and she said, I left you a voicemail message. Your cat was hit by a car at Ravenswood and Byron. He passed away. I moved him to the side of the road. So bless this lady for staying with my cat right now. But that is right in front of Rahm Emanuel's detail security house. That's where they drive and park all the SUVs after they're done dropping him off. He has 4 black SUVs, and they drive like idiots.
What is he, a cartel kingpin? 4 SUVs?
The black SUVs, yeah. And they drive like Jags. And I'm going to find out if they're the ones who killed my cat, because there's surveillance cameras everywhere. So let's have a moment of silence for Crazy Jacobson.
Sorry.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Remembering Crazy Jacobson at 7:07.
But first,
with Crazy Jacobson, too.
Here's Mike Scott.
DCFS is vowing change following the death of Samaj Crosby. We'll have an update on that developing story for you. Chicago police expanding shot spotter technology. We'll tell you why. And the Cubs beat the White Sox. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
He calls out a senator in a tweet. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're now one step closer to liberating our citizens from this Obamacare nightmare.
President Trump rallying supporters last night in Youngstown, Ohio, but this morning he took a shot at one of the two Republicans who voted against starting debate on a health care bill, tweeting that Senator Lisa Murkowski really let Republicans and our country down. Vice President Pence broke a tie to allow the Senate to debate a bill.
The repeal and replace will actually have a transition period, and the reason for the transition period is we can't make the changes fast enough to slow down the rate increases that Obamacare will see in the next couple of years.
That's Republican Senator Mike Rounds, but the First Amendment of many to come failed last night. President Trump says time will tell if Jeff Sessions remains Attorney General. The president remains upset. He recused himself from the Russia probe and calls Sessions very weak dealing with intelligence leaks. But Fox News has learned the Attorney General will soon announce several criminal leak investigations. Incoming White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci says leaks must stop.
That does not serve the president. It doesn't serve his agenda. It's an indictment on the institution of the presidency. It makes all of us look bad.
The White House press aide suspected of leaks has resigned. A former Trump campaign chairman has avoided going under oath today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the Senate Judiciary Committee withdrew a subpoena for Paul Manafort last night after he agreed to hand over requested documents. The committee will continue negotiating with him on an in-person interview. Yesterday, Manafort met with the Senate Intelligence Committee staffers and answered questions about a 2016 meeting with a Russian lawyer who claimed to have dirt on Hillary Clinton. Democrat Dianne Feinstein told Fox News that neither Manafort nor Donald Trump Jr. would appear before the Judiciary Committee, but hopefully both will appear in September. Dave.
Rachel Russia's upset over a House bill that puts new financial sanctions on Moscow. Fox News, fair and balanced.
69 degrees. We have partly sunny skies at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Chicago City Council could vote later today on a massive settlement with drivers who received red light tickets in the city. The Finance Committee gave the green light to a $39 million payout this week. The deal is approved. Refunds will be sent out to over 1.2 million people issued tickets from 2010 to 2015. Lawmakers are due back at the State House in Springfield at noon today for a special session on school funding, but there could be empty seats, and it is political theater keeping Chicago lawmakers from heading back to Springfield, as State Representative Kelly Cassidy and State Representative Ann Williams said they'll stay in Chicago and help schools get ready for the return of students, which doesn't happen for weeks. Illinois State Police are marking Speed Awareness Day today through education and enforcement. Last year, police issued 2,200 warnings and 3,000 citations. Members of a joint House and Senate committee grilled officials with Illinois' DCFS about the April death of a 17-month-old Samaje Crosby. New Director Beverly Walker has been on the job for about a month. However, yesterday she assured legislators the department will not simply make a couple of changes in procedure and pronounce the job done.
We're not going to simply make a couple of changes in procedure and pronounce the job done. I want to assure you that this work has our most urgent attention.
Crosby's death was labeled suspicious and autopsy proved inconclusive pending lab and toxicology test results. Group of Chicago aldermen blasting the city's aviation commissioner for deciding to decommission the airport police at O'Hare and Midway. Commissioner Ginger Evans announced earlier this month she would move forward with a plan to strip aviation officers of their police powers. Speaking at City Hall yesterday, aldermen said Evans needed authorization from the city council alone to make that change. Wilson Contreras drove in 4. Carl Edwards provided some timely relief, and the Cubs beat the White Sox 7-2. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. It's that time of year when a scorching day can pop up out of nowhere. So the folks at Napa Auto Parts would like to remind you that if you can fry an egg on the sidewalk, you can also fry your car's battery. Head to Napa, where they'll help keep your car running longer, stronger, and that is Napa know-how. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Deb, I'm so done with today. Traffic was awful. I couldn't stop for coffee. I have conference calls all morning, plus all these reports to go through. And look, it's 75 and sunny, and I'm stuck in here.
Relax. It's going to be an awesome day. Corporate is throwing a picnic in the parking lot for lunch, and they ordered tasty catering.
What? Did I miss the memo?
Apparently. It's going to be great. They got burgers, grilled chicken, sides, the works. You know, Tasty Catering's picnic food is excellent.
Oh, yeah, I know. We had them for our holiday party.
Today, they're bringing out the Make Your Own Burger Creation Station. They have everything you can think of, like sriracha, blue cheese crumbles, bacon, sautéed mushrooms, and caramelized onions. And they serve it straight off the grill, the way a great burger should be.
Okay, maybe there's still hope for today. I just hope I don't spill mustard on this new tie. Good thing I've got my bib.
You have a bib?
You don't?
Tasty Catering's picnic menu has all the delicious summertime food favorites you crave and more. Go to tastycatering.com to peruse mouth-watering picnic menus and start planning your picnic today. tastycatering.com.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 4242 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 4242.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Think you can't manage the down payment it takes to purchase a new home? Think again. You could move into a $150,000 home with as little as $1,500 down with our 1% down payment option. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.19%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to quickenloans.com.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
7:06. Check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens inbound, it's just 20 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Cumberland. 30 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 15 from Montrose, but 20 in the express lanes. Outbound, it's 19 minutes to Montrose and 35 to the airport. The Eisenhower, 45 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 29 from Manheim, outbound 38 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. Ryan is 32 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 20. Northbound Tri-State slow, 111th to LaGrange Road and Jan. From the Cermak to Lawrence, there's a new lane shift there as part of the roadwork layout, causing bigger backups. Adams Tollway is fine. Reagan Tollway slow, Farnsworth to Raymond and York to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial, heavy Butterfield to Roosevelt, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Northwest Indiana's fine at the moment. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A more humid day today with sun and some clouds. High of 88. Then tonight it will become mostly cloudy. We'll have a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm with a low 72. Morning shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 68 degrees, cloudy skies. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Choose M13 Graphics for all your business brochures, postcards, flyers, and more. Order online at m13.com. or call 877-613-1913.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, we are asking anybody who sees a small kind of Shetland person in a tutu to please notify the authorities so that he can be whistled in for questioning in the death of Amy's cat.
Yeah, I mean, my babysitter just went and picked up Crazy, the body left of my cat, and was right in front of Mayor Emanuel Security Detail where they park. It's an old firehouse at Byron and Ravenswood. And they drive like maniacs. And I just think, even if it wasn't them, whoever hit my cat and walked away and didn't call, because maybe I could have come and saved it, But if it's laying there injured for hours and it passed away, a neighbor found it at about 4:30 this morning. So if anybody has information, it's a gray tabby. No, don't laugh. Why are you?
I'm not laughing.
No,
I'm
you're
not
laughing. Don't look at me. It's a gray tabby with missing a tail because it had been in an accident before. Gray tabby. And if anybody has information, Byron and Ravenswood, 312-642-5600 is our number. If anybody saw anything.
The prime suspect, again, distinguishing feature, he has half a finger. He's small.
No, it's not Mayor Emanuel, but I'm just saying there's
lithe.
Heavy traffic in that area because his security detail is based there in that firehouse.
He thinks Inglewood is pronounced Inglewheel. So that's the way. If you see this individual, please notify authorities or call the station and we'll scramble our own security detail.
I mean, what's wrong with people? If I hit somebody's cat or any animal, I would stop, I would call, and I would try to render aid or call the owner right away. But just to hit an animal and drive away, that is a sick person, and there is a special place in hell for that person.
Yes. I had a cat growing up, and I had to bury our cat in the backyard.
Can you help me dig a hole? Because I'm going to have a hard time digging a hole. Or do I have it cremated?
No.
I don't want my cat ashes in my house.
Cremated? No, just bury in the backyard. Bury crazy in the backyard and have a little thing to him, like put a plant there or something, right?
Yeah. I did just recently, my son planted a tree, so maybe we can put it by the tree.
Mm-hmm. And have Tiny Dancer have to come over every day and water it as penance.
Too soon, but it's good I can laugh and cry at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I mean, we lost our cat Fluffy, but we brought it to the vet and said goodbye to it, and then didn't have to bury it.
No, look, people. I'm attached to my dog. I've attached to pets previously. I get it. People are attached to pets, and they should be. There's nothing.
So
wrong
how
with
did
that.
you buried Angel in your
I'm
backyard?
a lot more attached to pets than they are to the mayor of Chicago. I'll tell you that.
That's true. Did you bury Angel in your backyard?
Yeah.
How did Angel die? Just old age.
Old age. Yeah, he died in the house.
So nobody violently hit your cat,
Was
just
not-
callously and carelessly drove away.
Was not killed by a politician. Allegedly.
Allegedly by his security detail. Oh, I'll find you. Oh, I will find the person who did this.
Well, you're raising another issue, though, too. 4 SUVs for one little man?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man, quotation
They
marks.
rotate. And, I mean, he changed the way Berteau is facing to help him get home earlier, because Berteau used to be a one-way going east. Now it's west, so he can get to his house easier. He got rid of red light cameras because he plows through them, so he didn't want to be caught. And then the speed trap that is near his house, too, he got rid of that, dismantled that camera.
Kid gets
it's really easy.
His kid gets beaten up in an alley where he told kids to take it to the alley, get off the streets, and they did. And then the alleged assailants flee on the CTA, but that camera's out too.
Yeah, and the camera right by his house, that's out. The CTA camera's out. It's really,
It's kind of like this.
It's really convenient for this little dictator there to determine what he wants.
A lot of targeted electromagnetic attacks in that neighborhood that are particularly well timed. No, I mean SUV, 4 SUVs.
Black SUV with tinted windows, so we don't know who's inside. Ooh.
Just by comparison, El Chapo had 3.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Ross in Elmhurst, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Miss Amy and Dan.
Hello.
Amy, I'm sorry for your cat, but I live with a girl. She's a little bit younger than I am, but
okay, Ross.
She has 16. She has 16 little cases of all her dead cats so far, and her horse. And right next to her horse's ashes is her paternal grandfather's ashes. And I kid you not.
It sounds like you're loving life, Ross. Thanks for the call. Did he say horse's ashes or? So the rank order of priority is 16 cats, the horse, and grandpa.
And she's a little girl. She sounds like a little kitten too. I don't know what
Boy,
to say.
this is really kind of off the rails. I thought we were going to talk about Trump, but okay.
Okay, so maybe I could start a collection. Get the ashes and those, for my other 15 cats.
His soul has gone to cat heaven. I think I don't know that I would necessarily. I mean, Ross seems like a very happy-go-lucky fella, and he seems like everything's going well. And
yeah,
but I don't know that I'd recommend the collection of urns. I don't know. I mean, maybe get refrigerator magnets or something. Maybe pictures. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, teach their own.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Strangest phone call we've
Ross
ever
and his
received.
girlfriend, they just laugh and laugh and laugh all day.
Plenty of sunshine today, some clouds, but it's going to be warm.
Wait, hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
Text from 815, be careful, it's illegal to bury your pet in the backyard.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You get arrested by the very people who did it.
Plenty of sunshine today. Hot and humid, a high near 90 degrees. And then tonight we're going to have a shower, possibly a heavy thunderstorm. Hopefully we'll be able to get in the Cubs White Sox game, which is at guaranteed rate at 7 o'clock tonight. And then tomorrow, early morning shower, otherwise clouds and sun, a high of 83 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Any activity near Ravenswood and Byron, Jim Talamonte?
Right now, no, Amy. We're going to keep an eye on that, though. We don't have a jam cam right in that area, but we'll see if we get any reports from tipsters, as they might say. There is one north side crash that happened early this morning. It's not near there. It's actually on Devon at Washtenaw, much farther north. The car hit a building there. There were some injuries. That was over 2 hours ago, and crews are still at the scene, though the streets are open. The Edens, just 20 minutes, like Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. The Kennedy, 42 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. It's quicker in the locals than the Express. Outbound 36 minutes to O'Hare. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 38. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 40. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown, northbound Tri-State. It's slow from 111th to LaGrange and from the Stevenson to 31st. And it's Jan from the Cermak toll to Lawrence with the new lane shift. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Dan Proft here with an important message for Chicagoland business owners. If you own or rent your building, chances are that you're paying more than your fair share of property taxes. Ask yourself this question. If you could lower your property taxes with the help of licensed professionals who have an 80% average success rate, yes, you heard that right, an 80% success rate, lowering business owners' property taxes, would you do that? Corporate Valuation Advisors has reduced their clients' property taxes on average by 20% over their 25-year service history throughout the greater Chicagoland area. Here's a Corporate Valuation Advisor's recent property tax savings success story from a local Chicago business owner. Their first year of property tax savings equaled $26,265. The total four-year property tax savings equaled $104,679. Call Corporate Valuation Advisors. They can help. 630-923-5371. That's 630-923-5371. You can also find them at yourfairtax.com or visit 560theanswer.com and look for the Corporate Valuation Advisors banner.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
The hypocrites scatter when I shine the bright light of reason. I'm Larry Elder. Join me tonight at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Trump was really in his element in Youngstown, Ohio for that rally last night. And one of the things that I've remarked upon, and will again, one of the real skill sets Trump possesses, the disciplines even that he possesses, and that discipline in Trump, not usually words you use in the same sentence. He knows his audience. He knows who his audience is not, and he leverages the latter to serve the former. And he did it again last night. Here's what I mean. Trump's opener last night.
I'm here this evening to cut through the fake news filter and to speak straight to the American people. Fake news. Fake news.
And what making America great again means in a few sentences.
This has been a difficult week for the media because I forced them to travel with us all around the country and spend time with tens of thousands of proud Americans who believe in defending our values, our culture, our borders, our civilization, and our great American way of life.
So he's still speaking to and for the deplorables. He hasn't lost his audience. And that's why there's a certain stickiness to Trump, even if you disagree, as I do, with some of the way he conducts his the public's affairs through Twitter and with respect to personnel decisions and even with respect to parts of his policy agenda. He is not going to lose his base, sans something truly unanticipated, because he speaks to them. He speaks to people being, in my parlance, gamed by a system they finance, and they're sick of it. And the thing that Trump projects, two things, fight and strength. And that, frankly, contrasts him very nicely from most of the rest of the political class.
And they love him, and they love that he loves himself. He reminded everyone that he's one of the best presidents ever.
With the exception of the late, great Abraham Lincoln, I can be more presidential than any president that's ever held this office. That I can tell you.
He just chooses not to be. He could be. Really, he chooses not to be.
But sadly, we have to move a little faster than that. We will never be beholden to the lobbyists or the special interests. We will never be silenced by the media. I want to protect America, and I want to protect the citizens of America. Your hopes are my hopes. Your dreams are my dreams.
See,
he's getting really good, too. I'm mesmerized. Like, oh,
rhetorically, he aligns himself with the interests of the quote-unquote deplorables. And that's where he should be. Now, I don't always think his policy choices are similarly aligned, even if he does. I'm just probably saying a substantive point of disagreement. But the idea that I'm focused on trying to align my interests with the interests of those deplorables, again, the people who finance the system that games them, that's right. That's the sweet spot for Trump. And frankly, it's the sweet spot for the Republican Party generally. They don't have to do it the same way Trump does, but they have to still serve that same universe. That's the point. And one of the other things that was on display yesterday, so those are kind of the general MAGA statements, if you will, right? The Make America Great Again statements. But then there's the specifics. And Trump on sanctuary cities.
And that is why my administration is launching a nationwide crackdown on sanctuary cities. American cities should be sanctuaries for law-abiding Americans, for people that look up to the law, for people that respect the law, not for criminals and gang members that we want the hell out of our country.
American cities should be sanctuaries for the law-abiding. That's a statement of moral clarity. It's very clear. And I'll tell you what, think about that. The victims of violent crime committed by persons who are in this country illegally, who politicians all say they want out, but they're not out, and often they don't really want them out. Think about Cook County.
We don't want them out.
Cook County has refused to let ICE into county jail to go through those that are taken into custody and find out if you've got violent criminals who are here illegally, to advance their detainer orders to get them out of here. Cook County, and even there was a proposal. I think this proposal was made by Tim Schneider, Cook County Commissioner Tim Schneider. Allow them in just to deal with those persons who are here illegally, who've been charged with felonies. No.
And they still won't?
No.
Oh, my God.
That's what Trump is talking about. This is what people don't fully appreciate. And the distinctions are not made by the El Gallitos and the Dem Pauls that are beholden to the unhinged leftist base of the Democrat Party, socialist, quote-unquote, immigrant rights groups that are not immigrant rights groups. They're apologists for criminals. That's what they are in terms of how they actually act. They tell you the story about the dreamer, and that's fine. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that separate and distinct from violent felons. And they don't make those distinctions. They operate just like the unions. They don't make the distinction between the good and the bad. They don't. And that's what Trump is talking about. And that turns out to be really important because it presents such a nice contrast. CNN hyperventilates about a phony baloney WWF wrestling video that Trump tweets. That's engendering violence. But actual violence on the streets and political class, urban-centered Pauls, like in Chicago and Cook County, who protect predators, that's the distinction. And so you may not like some of the things Trump does and says. I certainly don't. But if you want to say, here's your choice, that guy or these guys that run Cook County or City of Chicago, well, that's an easy choice. That is an easy choice. Chuck in Orland Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan and Jimmy. Isn't it an obstruction of justice if they don't let the ICE in there to see if these are illegal aliens that have the records?
Well, I think there's a colorable argument to be made. It just hasn't been advanced. But, maybe treating politicians as not above the law, maybe challenging the sovereign immunity they have for public policy decisions like flouting federal law, maybe that would be interesting. Maybe making an example of somebody like a Preckwinkle or a Tiny Dancer would be useful.
I'm sorry to interrupt. One more thing. Yesterday you talked about how to actually determine teachers' salaries. This thought. Why don't they tie it in with the property values of each district and what they pay their teachers? Maybe we'd be more in line with the budget.
Oh, you mean
so if you worked in Hinsdale, you'd make more money than if
no.
you
Wait, hold on. Are you saying, like, for example, if the teacher's salary could only go up if property values go up and only by the same amount?
If you go up, if the property values go up, it will be taxed on the true property value. But if it goes down, it should be lower.
Yeah, right. Thanks for the call, Chuck.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
As the head of procurement for my company, I was sweating a big deadline and got tired of calling my printer for updates, only to hear excuses. So I heard about McGrath Printing Custom Apparel and gave them a call. I got A+ service and they beat the deadline. McGrath Printing really saved my...
I'm a supply chain manager for a Fortune 500 company, and we had $50,000 of product waiting for instruction manuals because our printer couldn't deliver on time. One call to McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, and they saved my.
At McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, they've been saving companies for over 35 years. Give them a call at 815-356-5246. That's 815-356-5246. And mention code AM560 and get 20% off your first order. So remember,
go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com. McGrathPrint.com.
AM560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is skinny Obamacare repeal fat enough for you with a PH? We'll ask Steve Moore at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say hello once again to Mike Scott.
70 and clouds and sunshine this morning. 7:30 on AM 560. The Answer in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. President Trump back in campaign mode, rallying in Ohio last night, renewing a pledge to spend less money overseas and focus on rebuilding the U.S. Debate continues today on Senate Republican plans to repeal and replace Obamacare. The Senate holding its first vote on the GOP health care plan yesterday after proceeding with plans to debate and amend the original work. Senator John McCain of Arizona says Congress right now is not doing a very good job of getting important work done.
I hope we can again rely on humility, on our need to cooperate, on our dependence on each other, to learn how to trust each other again, and by so doing better, serve the people who elected us.
The bill needs 60 votes to pass, but came up short. 43 senators voted in favor of the first amended version of that bill. Earlier, Vice President Mike Pence cast a tie-breaking vote to advance debate. The Justice Department clamping down on federal grants to sanctuary cities. New restrictions announced yesterday include two major changes. One of those gives ICE agents greater access to local jails and prisons. The state of Ohio will execute a convicted child killer today. Ronald Phillips will be the first person put to death in Ohio since 2014, barring a stay by the Supreme Court. Chicago City Council Finance Committee could vote later today on a massive settlement with drivers who received red light tickets in the city. The Finance Committee gave the green light to the nearly $39 million payout on Monday. The deal's approved. Refunds will be sent out to over 1.2 million people who were issued tickets from 2010 to 2015. The state of Illinois saying its university, its land-grant university, the University of Illinois, will become the second school in the Big Ten to ban participation by college athletes with a history of sexual or domestic abuse. In April, the University of Indiana said it would not accept athletes convicted of a felony involving sexual violence. Wilson Contreras drove in 4. Cubs beat the White Sox 7-2. Ohio State, Penn State, Northwestern, and Wisconsin, each placing 2 players on the preseason Big Ten All-Conference football list. The news service of CC's. Now at CC's, bring the party home with 3 medium, 1-topping pizzas to go for just $4 each. Only at CC's. At participating locations for a limited time, purchase minimum of 3 pizzas. 7:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Right now with Galaxy. Buy 1 cabinet, get 1 free. Visit us online at GalaxyHome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have 0 tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're purchasing a home, give me a call. A borrower called me after contacting the lender who boasts about having the lowest rates and closing costs because he thought my competitors' closing costs were excessively high. I compared loan estimates and the interest rates were identical, but our definitions of low closing costs were a lot different. Fact is, my closing costs were over $1,000 less than the lender claiming to have the lowest closing costs. When purchasing a home, you can either work with the lender who talks and talks and talks and talks about low closing costs, or you can work with me, a lender who actually has low closing costs. Then think of all the things you could do with an extra $1,000 when we originate your loan, like pay for the movers, buy a new computer, new TV, maybe new carpet for your new house. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License T 4358, and MLS 19186.
7:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has gotten heavier with the delays starting at Harlem. It's 47 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 24 from Montrose, 25 in the Express, outbound 36 to O'Hare. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Eisenhower's 48 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 35. Stevenson 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Ryan 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, heavy 111th to LaGrange Road. From the Stevens to 31st. Jan from the Cermak toll to Lawrence with a new lane shift. Reagan Tollway slow Farnsworth to 59 and York to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial in pockets from 75th to Roosevelt. The Army Trail toll to 290, traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. It's that time of year when a scorching hot day can pop out of nowhere. The folks at Napa Auto Parts would like to remind you, if you can fry an egg on the sidewalk, you can also fry your car battery. Head to Napa. They'll help you keep your car running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sunshine and clouds expected today. Warm and a little more humid. High 88, and that humidity and clouds as they come in the evening and overnight could bring with it a heavier thunderstorm and a low of 72. Currently, we have 70 degrees. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So, boy, Republicans really readjusting their sights, aren't they, when you're celebrating a procedural vote to have debate on Obamacare repeal after 7 years of Republicans talking about the importance of repealing and replacing Obamacare. That's what happened yesterday. And the debate ensued and the first vote taken on the proposal to replace Obamacare that was not going to get the requisite number of support, but it was interesting to sort of take a straw vote on it. And it was 9 Republicans who rejected the party's repeal and replace plan from both sides of the House, in terms of moderates like Collins and Murkowski, as well as conservatives like Rand Paul and Tom Cotton and Mike Lee. So the prospects for anything resembling repeal and replace, or even straight repeal, or so-called skinny repeal. Have you heard this?
No, is it light?
Skinny repeal would be to only eliminate Obamacare's health insurance mandates on individuals in business and the medical tax, the tax on medical devices, I should say. That's skinny repeal and replace, and that seems to have some momentum, but is it enough to get to the magic numbers? I don't know. We'll talk to Steve more about that momentarily, but we had the return of John McCain.
Senator John McCain received a hero's welcome. Everyone stood up and applauded him. And he reminded members of Congress to wake up, and he called them not to be dysfunctional.
Stop listening to the bombastic loudmouths on the radio and television and the internet. To hell with them. We're getting nothing done, my friends. We're getting nothing done.
And he reminded members of the Senate
Why they despise him?
No, they
Oh.
don't despise him, Dan. Maybe you do because he's a wishy-washy, squishy, moderate Republican, but they have a purpose and they have a role.
Whether or not we are of the same party, we are not the president's subordinates. We are his equal.
So, I'm sorry, did anybody argue that you were his subordinates? No, we understand that. Thanks for the civics lesson, Senator McCain. All right. Well, speaking of bombastic loudmouths on the radio.
And TV.
And TV, exactly.
I mean, should we even let him on?
Double threat. Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, Heritage Foundation economist. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys, that's the nicest introduction I've ever had.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Thank you so much. It is such a damn mess, though. I was just listening to what you guys were saying. And, how did we arrive at this point where we waited 7 years? Conservatives all over the country, worked to get a Republican House, a Republican Senate, a Republican president, based on this promise that they would repeal Obamacare. One of the things that your listeners have to understand is virtually every Republican, even the ones who voted no yesterday, every Republican who ran for Congress promised their voters they would repeal Obamacare. Now they have the moment to stand up and deliver, and they can't do it. It is sickening. I'm so disgusted with the Republican Party right now.
Well, in addition to the political prognostication, what is your substantive take on the so-called skinny repeal? Is that weighty enough?
Well, I wrote a column this week sort of endorsing that, and it's a fallback position. Look, if I had my druthers, we'd repeal every single word of Obamacare, and that's what Donald Trump said on the campaign. Every word of it would be repealed. But the political reality is that they don't have the 50 votes to get full repeal or even, mostly repeal. So, and the problem is, when did Republicans really start to fall apart? When the Congressional Budget Office started putting out these bogus reports saying, 20 million people are going to lose their insurance under the Republican plan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think most of your listeners know that is a complete fabrication and lie, because over half of those people were supposedly going to lose their insurance are people who don't want the insurance. They can't afford it. And these are people who are paying the fine rather than buying the Obamacare policies because they're so expensive. So what this kind of fallback position would do was say, keep Medicaid. Medicaid's a horrible program. It is the worst way to provide people with insurance. But people want to, if the Democrats want to keep the expansions of Medicaid, do that. But fix the individual insurance market, which is falling apart. That's where you have the death spiral, where sick people are signing up for coverage, healthy people are dropping out. It's why, almost 40% of areas now in the country either have one or no insurance company left. So fix the individual insurance market and do the Cruz Amendment. I think we talked about this last week, where you give people, if you like Obamacare, you can stay in one of those policies. But if you want a cheaper policy that gives you the coverage that you can afford and that you want, you can do that. So I guess I would take that.
Well, so what does this mean for Americans who are on Obamacare? Because open enrollment begins in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's chaos in those markets. There's no question about it, because nobody knows whether the market's going to exist. That's why it's so important. Republicans have to get this done, in my opinion, before Labor Day. Before they leave, they've got to get something done. So there is some kind of certainty in terms of what's going to happen in the market. I believe if you were just to let people have an opt-out, by the way, that would, in my opinion, that would lead to more people having insurance, because it would drop the cost of insurance dramatically if you could get a plan that is not, quote, Obamacare compliant. And what happens when the price of something goes down, Dan? People buy more of it. It's called a downward sloping demand curve.
Well, based on your relationships and on the Hill and the senators that seek advice from you on the substantive policy matter, how do you think this shakes out between conservatives like Lee and Paul and Cruz and Cotton, and then some of the moderates?
Yeah.
Who is essentially, where's the center of gravity in terms of those that are on the outside looking in?
So that's a great question, and I would put it like this: I think that Murkowski and Susan Collins are lost. Right, they're done. We can't count on them for anything that's worth passing one other one. So that means we're down to 50. Right, that means we have to have every other Republican vote for this. We can't pass a bill if my friend Rand Paul, as you know, I worked for Rand Paul in the presidential campaign. I love Rand. We can't pass a bill without him. We can't pass a bill without Mike Lee. I had dinner with Mike Lee last week, and we had a long discussion about this. And I said, Mike, look, I'm substantively with you on all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, if we need your 50th vote, you've got to be there for us, because even a scaled-down Obamacare repeal is much better for the country and for the party than failure. I just think failure is a catastrophe here. And by the way, the left is out there saying, why don't you do a bipartisan bill? And this guy, who's your mayor's brother? What's his name?
Zeke Emanuel?
Zeke. Death panel. Death panel Zeke? Zeke Emanuel?
Yeah. He had this piece in the paper saying, here's the compromise. We get everything we want.
Yes.
What the Democrats want, by the way, is here's the great thing about this. Nobody's talking about it in the media. The Democrats want basically a bailout of the insurance companies. So is it any wonder that the insurance companies like the Democrat plan better than the Republican plan?
Wait a second. I thought they were against big corporations. I just read yesterday in their announcement about their better deal policy agenda, for government has slacked off the enforcement of laws. The result is bigger and bigger corporations with more and more power. That's what Pocahontas said.
Exactly. So they're such hypocrites, because you've got this unholy alliance now, ladies and gentlemen, between the big insurance companies who bought all in on Obamacare, because after all, why wouldn't they love Obamacare? What other industry in America has the government forcing you to buy their product?
Well, and now, just going back to your dinner with Mike Lee, when you said if we need you to be the 50th vote, you got to be there for the party and for the country in reverse order. What did he say?
I think in the end of the day, he will be there. I do. I think he got it. I think he's playing a strategic position. I agree with him. He said, Steve, I'm holding out for the very, very best bill we can get.
Yeah, okay.
And I respect that opinion. The one I'm a little bit worried about is Rand Paul. I mean, I love Rand, but he's so principled, that he may not vote for a bill that doesn't, have substantial repeal of Obamacare. So we're stymied right now. I don't know the solution to this right now, Dan. I don't know how it's going to turn out.
And what's up with Senator Lindsey Graham? Why did he vote no?
Can anyone ever explain Lindsey Graham?
I mean, that was because his girlfriend McCain voted yes.
Right. So I actually didn't see the roll call on that vote last night. So Lindsey voted no and McCain voted yes?
Yes, correct.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, because those two are
thick as thieves.
Twins. I don't know. I can't explain that one. I can't explain it. But Lindsey, he's always unpredictable. And look, but I think I want to urge all your readers to go back and read last week's Wall Street Journal editorial called the Obamacare Republican.
Yeah.
It gets at the heart of the matter that this is a generational defining moment for the Republican Party. They have to do this. I mean, this is about what the party is about. If we don't do this, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get single-payer system, government-run health care like the VA system, where the government takes over 1/6 of our economy. It's the most dangerous thing I've ever heard of.
And if you don't believe Steve Moore, all you have to do is listen to Chuck Schumer, who said exactly that over the weekend on Clinton Foundation Zero's program, Donor Zero's program. That's
the first time in my life I've ever agreed with Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, right.
The Democrats, they knew, by the way, when they passed Obamacare that it was going to fail. They knew that you were going to get the death spiral, and they realized that this would be the stepping stone to get the single-payer system. And by the way, if you like single-payer, you must love the VA system where our veterans are dying in the hospitals.
Steve Moore, thanks so much for joining us as always.
Right,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Have a great week.
You
Bye.
too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, this could be the last battle for Charlie Gard's parents. They want their son to die at home. But first, here's your forecast. Sunshine today, some clouds, hot and humid, a high near 90 degrees. Tonight, we're going to have a shower, thunderstorm. And then tomorrow, Thursday, a shower, thunderstorm in the morning. Otherwise, clouds and sun, a high of 83 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. We're now seeing delays southbound on the tri-state from Washington to Atkinson. Northbound at Stop and Go Harlem to 31st, and really heavy from the Cermak Toll to Lawrence. There's a new lane shift there. The Adams Tollway's fine. The Reagan Tollway's heavy. Farnsworth to 59. Then York to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial. From Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt. The Army Trail toll to 290. Eden's 20 minutes. Lycook to Montrose outbound 29. Kennedy 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown still a little heavier in the Express. About 36 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower's an hour and 2 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 36 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 35 to Thorndale. Stevenson 55 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 38. The Ryan 30 minutes. 95th to the Loop. That's traffic. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Turnkey IT, that's the place to go if you have any problems with your network, your computers at work or at home. Turnkey IT, they'll give you support of your systems, and it's similar to having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there for you, working in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone and make house calls to your workplace. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call because they work hard to take preventative measures to keep your network secure, backed up, and running nonstop. Turnkey IT can protect your network with the Turnkey experience, where everything is included: Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. So find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company today. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Culture, issues, society. This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
I'm a deacon in my church, and I wanted to witness at some of the area malls, but I want to witness, and our group would like to pass out tracts. And I'm wondering what laws or stipulation may or may not prevent us. I haven't contacted the mall yet. I wanted to talk with you first.
Well, the first thing to do is to contact the mall authorities to see what their policies and procedures are with regard to the distribution of literature. Most malls are private property, and private property owners, even when it's a shopping mall, have the right to regulate their properties so that if they do not want a particular activity taking place, they can say that. So it's really dependent upon the mall or the mall ownership, and I will tell you, most malls do not allow the private distribution of literature.
If you have a legal question or concern, visit us on our website at aclj.org.
Message and data rates may apply.
Does forgetting your password make your blood boil? If technology is supposed to make life easier, then why is it so difficult to log into apps and websites? We're about to simplify your life now by giving you free access to Dashlane, the award-winning app that remembers and protects all of your passwords, making it easy to securely access all of your accounts. Get Dashlane free for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. Dashlane makes life online blissfully simple, safe, and secure. Trusted by over 7 million users and 6,000 companies. Top-rated in functionality, security, and ease of use. Honored with over 70,000 five-star ratings. Dashlane, where passwords are never lost, never forgotten, and always secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. After texting, please enjoy a sigh of relief. That's PASS to 543-543.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by upstream-ideas.com. When you think about quality K-12 schools that put kids on a path to being successful, independent adults, do you think of gender-inclusive toolkits, opposition to federal law enforcement, support for the impeachment of the president? If you don't, you probably weren't at the National Education Association's annual meeting. In worldwide rankings, U.S. high school students do not crack the top 20 in either science or reading and have dropped to 35th in math. The response from the nation's largest teachers union is to argue for in-state college tuition for persons in the country illegally and against the U.S.'s quote-unquote illegal overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy in 1893. 159 new business items and nary a one dealing with student performance, classroom instruction, or fiduciary responsibility. The NEA has affiliates in all 50 states. They take over school districts, subordinate intellectual development to political indoctrination, and purchase legislators who fund it all on your dime and at your kid's expense. So when the NEA tells you that their business is making your kid a sentinel of the welfare state, you should believe them and maybe show up to a school board meeting.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Oh, I'd be a nervous wreck if my daughter just got her license.
You know, Liberty Mutual actually helped me relax a little bit.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with roadside assistance, Liberty Mutual is there to make sure she won't get stranded. Don't know what I'd do without it.
Sounds better than the alternative.
Which is?
Keeping her home until she's 30.
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Optional 24-hour roadside assistance coverage. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com.
Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
When I heard of Balance of Nature, and I said, because I had prayed, Lord, how am I going to get all this food into me that's so good to me? That's when I called. Now I know that I get my fruits and my vegetables into me, and I don't have to work so hard. I know that I am getting the proper things into my body. I do believe that if I didn't have this already in my body, my Balance of Nature, it wouldn't have gone so good for me. But because my body was healthy, that's what kept me going.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
How would you like to make an extra $1,200 to $7,800 monthly safely investing in real estate tax lien certificates? Hi, I'm Tony Martinez, co-founder of USTLA, and over the last 20 years, I've been investing in tax lien certificates making 16% to 25% secured fixed returns while acquiring highly discounted properties mortgage-free. Now, I want to show you how to with my 50-page revealing report called Proof Why Tax Lien Certificates Are the Superior Vehicle for Your Financial Success. In my report, you'll learn where to find tax lien certificates, how to safely earn 16 to 25% secured fixed returns, and how to acquire valuable real estate at huge discounts mortgage-free. Now, for a limited time, I'll give anyone that calls a free copy of my powerful new report.
Call 800-220-1788 now to get Tony's free report. Call 800-220-1788 in the next 30 minutes, and Tony will give you 2 free tickets to his live training coming to the Chicago area, a $300 value. Call 800-220-1788. That's 800-220-1788 for your free report now.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, are you over fat?
What?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. New study finds that 90% of American men and men in developed countries generally are over fat.
What is it? Wait. Over fat, is that the new version of overweight?
Sort of. 80%, up to 80% of women and half of children over fat.
What?
You know what over fat is?
I have no idea what over fat is.
Over fat
what?
is if the circumference of your waist measures more than half your height, you're over fat.
Circumference of my waist.
Yeah, oh boy, math.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I don't do math on days that end in Y.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not over fat.
No.
But let's talk about you.
I'm just in under the wire. I did the math.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You're in under the wire?
I'm just under the wire. I'm not over
Uh-huh.
fat.
Oh.
Even though I'm morbidly obese.
I got a job following fat people around with a tuba. Stop it! Cut it out! I have a glandular problem.
Maybe that's what's required. Maybe that's what's required. Tuba shaming. 76 up to 76% of the world's population may be over fat, according to these Australian researchers.
Well, they're drunk because that's not true. 90% of men are not over.
No, 90%, 76% of the world's population.
Oh, come on.
And I thought a third of them lived in squalor.
Yeah,
and poverty.
Yeah, I can point out some countries.
I don't know
that there is no over fat there, or what do you call it?
The study's findings were published in the journal Frontiers in Public Health, which
fake news. That's
I want to question the academic integrity of papers published in Frontiers in Public Health, but mainly I'm just interested in introducing the term over fat because I didn't know what the heck it was either until I read the story. Over fat.
Is that the new way of saying overweight? You're over fat.
Well, it's interesting though to think about it. Your waist, the circumference of your waist, is more than half your height.
Yeah, that's
you're over fat.
I can see it.
Yeah.
think Mike Scott's overfed?
If you're overfat, you're underdone. It sounds like an airplane bit. Okay.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Talk a little bit about school funding, and are you a racist if you support school choice? That's at 8:08.
And later, a judge may decide today where Charlie Gard will die. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the very latest on developments from the White House this morning. Fox News with the latest on the president's latest tweets. Here in Illinois, some lawmakers will skip out on a special session. We'll tell you why. Chicago police are expanding their sharpshooter technology. Cubs beat the White Sox. Sun and clouds this morning. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Republicans are still not united in the Senate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We've got to be able to help these folks at the bottom end of the income scale that have no place else to go. And Obamacare was dumped on them. They didn't ask for it.
But Mike Rounds and the other GOP senators still can't agree on how to do that. Fox's Jared Halpern is live at the Capitol.
A late-night vote defeated a repeal and replace plan supported by Senate Republican leaders. 9 Republicans and every Democrat voted against it. There's a vote later today on a conservative-backed plan to repeal most of the Affordable Care Act and replace it in 2 years. That also is not likely to survive that Senate vote.
Let's see if we can pass something that will be imperfect, full of compromises, and not very pleasing to implacable partisans on either side.
Arizona Senator John McCain returned for that key vote to start debate, but in a fiery floor speech urged bipartisanship on a final health care product. Dave.
Jared, North Korea is reportedly warning the U.S. about a nuclear strike.
Reports this week say the North has missile launchers on the move. Thursday is the anniversary of the armistice that ended the Korean War. And this week, U.S. intelligence agencies are quoted upping their assessment of North Korea's rocket range, reckoning it will be able to hit the continental U.S. within a year.
Fox's Alistair Wanklin in our Asia Bureau. He raped and murdered a 3-year-old, and for that, Ronald Phillips will get a lethal injection in an hour in Ohio. The state's first execution since one 3 years ago that lasted 26 minutes with an inmate gasping. Ohio revised its drug protocol, and the Supreme Court rejected Phillips's challenge to the use of a sedative. An early morning shootout has left a San Antonio police officer in serious condition.
The officer and his partner were attempting to arrest 3 suspects in a car in connection with an early morning home invasion.
Jim Forsyth with Fox affiliate WOAI.
The wounded officer returned fire, killing the suspect. The officer is out of surgery in stable condition with gunshot wounds to the stomach and leg.
This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Sun and clouds, 70 degrees. Winds are south at 6 miles an hour. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Chicago City Council could vote later today on a massive settlement with drivers who received red light tickets in the city. Finance Committee gave the green light to nearly $39 million in payouts on Monday. If that deal is approved today, refunds will be sent out to over 1.2 million people issued tickets from 2010 to 2015. Lawmakers are due back at the State House in Springfield at noon today for a special session on school funding called for by Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner, but there could be a few empty seats and a bit of political theater as at least 2 Chicago lawmakers have announced they're not coming. State Rep. Kelly Cassidy and State Rep. Ann Williams yesterday said they'll instead stay in Chicago and help get schools in the city ready for the return of students, but that won't happen for weeks. Illinois State Police marking Speed Awareness Day today, so watch out on the roads. They're using education and enforcement to try to drop traffic fatalities tied to speed. Last year, during the State Speed Awareness Day, police issued more than 3,000 citations. Illinois is set to become the second Big Ten university to ban participation by college athletes with a history of sexual or domestic abuse. Wilson Contreras drove in 4 runs. Cubs beat the White Sox 7-2 on Tuesday. The news, a service of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. National Minority Donor Awareness Week is August 1st through 7th. Did you know most waiting on the life-saving transplant list in the U.S. are minorities? Learn more, get facts about organ, eye, and tissue donation at organdonor.gov. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. It is a service of McGrath Printing and Custom Apparel. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Ford's earnings for the spring quarter are stronger than expected despite slightly weaker sales. Ford Chief Financial Officer Bob Shanks says despite changing management, Ford is still focusing on technology.
We certainly are continuing to invest on the trajectory that we were on in terms of autonomous vehicles as well as electrification and digital services as well. So I think it's more around us unpacking all of that and making sure that we're happy with the decisions that we've made so far, what's ahead of us, where we're going to invest, where we're not going to invest. But in terms of generally, are we going to be focusing on those areas? Absolutely.
Coca-Cola is also reporting upbeat earnings and is predicting business will improve this year. Tesla's Model S has returned to the top of Consumer Reports list. Tesla upgraded the software on the car to include automatic emergency braking at highway speeds. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This summer, everybody is talking about one person. And on August 22nd, we want to hear what you have to say about President Donald Trump. Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump as he welcomes Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson to the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Join the debate as they discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly moments of the Trump administration. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. Sponsored in part by Storlock and by Best Dental Group.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 4242 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 4242.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, can I still take advantage of today's low rates? Is it still a good time to refinance? The answer is yes. Now's a great time to call Quicken Loans at 800-QUICKEN. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.99%, APR 4.19%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
8:06. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has delays from Austin to Randolph. It's 59 minutes O'Hare to downtown. It's 39 from Montrose, 42 in the Express. Outbound 36 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 29, the Eisenhower. And a crash at St. Charles on the right shoulder. Delay start at York. It is an hour and 2 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 35 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 47 minutes to Thorndale. Outbound Stevenson an hour. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 38 minutes. Ryan 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57 Bishop Ford both 20 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Southbound Tri-State stop and go Washington to Atkinson. Northbound Harlem to 31st. And from the Cermak toll up to Lawrence. Reagan tollway delays. Farnsworth 59 at York to the Tri-State. Banner to Oriole from Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt. From the Army Trail toll to 290. Northwest Indiana looks good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, sunshine and some clouds. Warm and more humid, high 88. Mostly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm, low 72. A morning shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, then clouds and sun, high 83. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
70 clouds and sun at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I want to talk about the school funding bill with the General Assembly back in special session today. But first, we were discussing at the end of the last hour the epidemic of overfat humans wandering the planet.
Mostly men.
90% of adult males, up to 80% of women, half of children, overfat, which again means the circumference of your waist measures more than half your height. Mike in Park Ridge has an important question.
Yeah, point of order here. I've got my tape measure out. Should I be measuring my waist or my belly? Because if I'm measuring my belly, I think I need to be 7'2".
Yes, well, exactly. Well,
no, it's your waist. Especially you guys are lucky.
Think about your pant size. Your pant size.
The waist of your pants, right?
Yeah. So
30,
so
are you
go
32?
Yeah, go by that. If you're 28 slim like me.
Between my legs and over my shoulder, and then between my legs again and over my other shoulder.
You're a real contortionist, Mike.
Just be careful if you have the automatic retractable tape measure.
Yeah, those things can leave a mark.
Sure. Thanks for the call, Mike. I know if you got a belly like Mike,
What's your pant size, or is that personal? Is it?
With a tool like Mike's, you got to build a shed over it. You know what I'm saying? That's what Mike is saying. That's what he's saying.
That is what he's saying. What's your waist size, or what is your pant size? Or is that too personal?
It varies a little bit.
Do you have the flexi waist?
I mean, that's why there's a reason I only wear sweatsuits. The elastic bands. What is my waist size? Does anybody really know?
That's why women wear activewear, because it's, can move in and out.
Maybe that's what I should start doing. All right, let's get back to the seriousness of school funding in Illinois to the extent that the state legislature takes it seriously. Mark Lennon, writing in wirepoints.com. Here's his op-ed on it. Senate Bill 1 is the name of the legislation that the governor, Governor Ronner, is waiting to be sent to him so he can amendatorily veto it, as he said he would do, to carve out the Chicago Democrats' latest gambit to take everybody else's money to provide temporary reprieve for the Chicago teachers' pensions. That's what the real crux of it is. But there's more to it than that. And in Mark Lennon's op-ed, he summarizes it thusly. It's obtuse and hopelessly opaque. It's a nightmare of complexity and a triumph of central planning. Key authors who are among those who know what's in it cannot be trusted. The bill, Freudian slip, is full of language that is inscrutable and mandates that are disturbing. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Ted Dabrowski, the Vice President of Policy at the Illinois Policy Institute, illinoispolicy.org. Todd, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, good morning.
So do you agree with Mark Lennon's takeaway on the topic?
Oh, Mark nails it 100% on the head. I had a chance to work on the previous formula, and that was at the time the most convoluted, complex, and nation state or structured formula. Well, this one is much, much worse, much more complex, and I can bet you nobody there in Springfield has any idea how this thing works.
Do they even have an idea what the implications are for their school districts? We've talked about on the show before the hold harmless piece of this. So, they're touting, the authors, the supporters, those who voted for it, touting this as, hey, no school district loses because we've got a pot of money that we're going to hold all school districts harmless. Well, what if that pot of money ever goes away, which it's likely to, in year 2 or year 3 or year 4? By definition, you wouldn't have to hold schools harmless if everybody was winning. That means some people are losing. And do the legislators and school superintendents and school boards and families in suburban school districts in particular understand just what they may lose if the politicians don't keep their promises?
Well, let me take something back. There are people that know what this thing does, and what it does is it bails out Chicago for sure. And, the guys that structure these things, they may not understand fully what goes on, but they do know who's protected and who's not. And so, those formulas are set up to protect Chicago and to protect a few districts. And then there's the others who are promised something, who might be surprised, like you say, in 2 or 3 or 4 years when they lose their promises.
And who are those others?
Well, a lot of those are going to be the suburban districts. The suburban districts may get big surprises when they're told right now that they will be held harmless. In other words, they won't get less than they're getting today. But when the money runs out, as may happen in Illinois, there's going to be cuts. And there's going to be a lot of surprises for those who think this is a good idea.
Well, Governor Rauner, I heard a lot of the ladies in my neighborhood. I live in Chicago. They're saying that, he's stealing from Chicago and giving to downstate districts, and that this is political suicide for Governor Rauner. Do you believe any of what they're saying?
Well, anybody who knows a little bit about Illinois politics and Illinois corruption knows that Chicago does a really good job of running the finances. And Chicago always manages to somehow make those formulas work for them. This happened 20 years ago when CPS was broke. They rigged all the formulas. Chicago got a lot of benefits. Now they've burnt through all that money, and they're at it again, going to the formula again to see if they can get more.
One other aspect of Senate Bill 1 that's been underreported because like people like Amy's friends just look at money. They don't care about outputs. They don't care about educational attainment. They just care about money. And so one other thing that's been underreported, and the same thing with the press corps, Chicago press corps too, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about either, and are disinterested in outcomes, clearly based on the outcomes we get and how it's reported. But there is the micromanagement of all school districts in Illinois by the state in Senate Bill 1. Now, we talked to Jason Barrickman, a Republican state senator, who's also bought into, and what I'm talking about here is this evidence-based funding formula, quote unquote. He's also bought into the evidence-based funding formula, but he suggests, at least from his perspective, this Senate Bill 1 is not his bill, but he does buy the premise of evidence-based funding. He's saying all I'm doing, or all I want to do, is put forward best practices for school districts to consider and see if they want to follow some of the best practices we've identified or not, but there wouldn't be funding punishment, if they don't. In Senate Bill 1, which is what the governor's waiting for in terms of to arrive to his desk, Senate Bill 1, that's not the case. Senate Bill 1, the language in the legislation is fairly clear that if you're not abiding the state-mandated employee-to-student ratios, minimum hiring requirements for principals and assistants, support staff, per pupil expenditure, how many music and art teachers to hire, how much to spend on technology for students. If you're not abiding all of that, then you do have your funding on the block.
Well, it's amazing. They have this prescription of exactly how you're supposed to spend your money, that this evidence is going to be, they have evidence that if they hire and spend the money like this, that everything's going to be beautiful. That's never happened anywhere in education. It's really hard to prove that anything really works. And so this formula they've come up with is very prescriptive. They tell everybody exactly what they're supposed to do, which sounds a little bit like some former socialist country. And then not only that, they could lose, districts could lose their funding if they don't follow it. Now, that's one way. Another way to look at this, though, is that, in the previous formulas, they've had things like poverty grants, which were meant to go for poor kids, but they didn't spend them. The districts didn't spend the money that way. They just spent it on bigger salaries, bigger pensions, and now they're coming to ask for more money. So it's really hard to know how these formulas play out, but they are very political. They're meant to drive more money to a place like Chicago, and in the end, this formula counts on $3 to $6 billion more in yearly funding for it to actually work. So just be on the lookout for the next tax hike when they need more money for this. They'll say that education is not working because they don't have enough money.
Well, right.
Well, what else can they tax?
Well, here's the other thing. If you're a suburban school district that's on the chopping block, if heavens forbid, the politicians don't keep their promises in Illinois, gee, that would be a real new occurrence. Yeah. If you're then you're going to see your property taxes increase because where are the school districts going to go if they see their general state aid reduced, right?
Well, they're going to get a double whammy, Dan. First of all, they're going to see their property taxes go up because they need to fund their own school because the state cuts the funding. But at the same time, who's going to pay the higher income taxes to fund all the other schools? It's going to be those same districts or the same people in those districts. So this is a horrible deal, especially if you're a suburb that spends a lot of money on education from their own pockets through property taxes. It's a lose-lose for them.
And now my understanding as well on Senate Bill 1, again, which the governor is waiting to be sent to his desk, passed by a Chicago Democrat-controlled General Assembly, that the legislation was authored in principle by Ralph Martiri, who's this left-wing crank pretending to be a numbers guy who's essentially just a public sector union flack. Ralph Martiri famously believes that every dollar that the government spends has a positive multiplier. So by Ralph Martiri's logic, we should confiscate everybody's private money and turn it all over to the government so they can derive a better ROI than we are able to do in our private lives. That's essentially the logical extension of his position. That's been his position. And if he is behind this legislation, then what you're really just talking about is an expansion of hiring public school teachers and staff and just an expansion of the state. It's a hiring program.
Oh, it's absolutely that. And yeah, Ralph, there's no tax hike he doesn't like, and he will always say that a tax hike will be better for the economy and create more jobs. That's his favorite mantra. So this kind of bill that calls for $6 billion more in yearly spending a year is exactly what he wants. And it's again after the huge tax hike we just had. It's the last thing we need. And I think this funding formula is just their way to grow the government and to take more control, especially away from locals.
One other aspect of this discussion this week is the tax credit proposal. This would provide a tax credit for people and corporations who want to voluntarily contribute to create a scholarship fund for low-income children to have better school options. This is in place in places like Florida. It's been wildly successful. This against the backdrop of Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation for Teachers, saying that school choice is rooted in racism, which will come as a real shock to all of the Latino families and African-American families who have benefited from school choice in major urban centers and in states like Florida and Indiana and Wisconsin. But the importance of the tax credit proposal that is being bandied about, Ted, and what it means specifically for minority families in urban centers, not just Chicago, but mid-sized urban centers around the state, against the backdrop of Randy Weingarten's hysteria.
Well, I think there's nothing that empowers a black, Hispanic, or any low-income, it doesn't matter what color or race you are, nothing empowers them more than putting the cash in the parents' hands and choosing the best school for their kids. And I don't know where Weingarten would say something like that it's racist. For me, it's the most empowering thing there is, and we'd love to see more of it. I think what's racist is giving the administration at CPS all the control of that money and creating a system that's such a failure where, kids aren't, 80% of kids have to go into remediation right when they graduate from college, from high school, or they can't read in the third grade. That's the real problem. But empowering families with scholarship money, are you kidding me? That is the most empowering thing there is.
Yeah, what is it? Charter schools in Chicago with 50,000 kids, another 25,000 on the waiting list. Those are minority families. Are they all racist? I mean, it's just utter silliness, but this is what you get from the teachers' unions. He is Ted Dabrowski, Vice President of Policy at the Illinois Policy Institute. Ted, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Some breaking news. President Trump says transgender individuals will not be allowed to serve in U.S. military. That's coming down right now. Forecast for today, some high clouds.
Can they still pick the shower of their choice?
You know what? I don't know about that. Probably not. Some high clouds right now. We should see peaks of sunshine on and off throughout the day, but it will be humid, a high of 88 degrees. And tonight we're going to have a shower roll through here, a possible heavy thunderstorm, a low of 72. And for Thursday, a shower in the morning, otherwise clouds and sun, a high of 83 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems. Traffic center here is Jim Telemonte.
Amy and Dad, Metro says Union Pacific North Line trains are stopped near Wilmette after an inbound train struck a pedestrian. We have delays on the inbound Eden starting at Wilson. They're not heavy, just 20 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, but outbound 32. Kennedy, 59 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, 39 from Montrose, 42 in the Express. Outbound 36 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower. It's 48 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. A crash at St. Charles quickly cleared. Outbound 47 minutes. Stevenson, 59 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 36. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, slow 21 to a plane. Got a crash in the left lane there. Northbound, heavy delays. Archer to 31st, and from the Cermak Toll Plaza to Lawrence. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, you've been bombarded with MyPillow ads everywhere you turn, not only from me, but on TV, billboards, and in print. The reason is simple. It's the best pillow available, and you deserve a restful and relaxing summer and a good night's sleep. And the July radio deal using my name, Amy, and the promo code is the best deal available. It's the 50% discount on the MyPillow 4-pack, which is 2 premium MyPillows, and my favorite, those 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for half the price. I love it because you can move the fill to give you the support you need, regardless of sleep position. You'll sleep deep and won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. And our good friend Mike Lindell makes them right here in America using only American labor. Also, another perk, you can wash them and dry them. You don't have to take them to the dry cleaners. So here's what you do. Go to MyPillow.com, type Amy, A-M-Y, in the promo code, or call 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Do you crave work that matters? 20 years ago, Bob Buford's book, Halftime, took business leaders from success to significance in their work. That book started a movement and the Halftime Institute. Now, from Institute CEO Dean Nawalny comes the next new powerhouse book, Trade Up. Building on Bob's legacy, Trade Up shows marketplace leaders how to not just make money, but make a difference. If the word smoldering discontent describe you, then trade up. Go to halftime.org. That's halftime.org.
Yestival, starring Yes, fresh from their induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, one of the most influential bands of all time. Saturday, August 19th, 7 p.m., Grand Victoria Casino, with performances by Todd Rundgren and Carl Palmer of ELP Legacy, featuring Carl's tribute to Keith Emerson and Greg Lake. Tickets on sale now at gbctickets.com. Part of the Grand Victoria Summer Concert Series. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Oh, I'd be a nervous wreck if my daughter just got her license.
You know, Liberty Mutual actually helped me relax a little bit.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with roadside assistance, Liberty Mutual is there to make sure she won't get stranded. Don't know what I'd do without it.
Sounds better than the alternative.
Which is?
Keeping her home until she's 30.
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Optional 24-hour roadside assistance coverage. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and we had Candace. We've had some people that want to extend their condolences to you on the loss of your cat this morning.
Yeah, I had, and also people that are texting me and emailing me. Thank you so much. I mean, it's really sweet. My cat was killed this morning, right out near the old firehouse where Mayor Emanuel's security detail parks, and they drive those big black SUVs. So I'm going to go there this morning and ask them, demand to know who killed my cat.
We'll scramble a CSI team to, go over all the physical evidence at the scene and hold the responsible parties accountable for what they've done.
They should be. Because you suggested one of yours, two of theirs.
That's how it is. That's how it is in Wheaton. I don't know how they do it in Chicago. We will avenge Crazy Jacobson's passing.
Yes, we will.
Mark my words, you little ballerina and your henchman.
Seriously, I'm going through the stages of grief. I'm in denial because I haven't seen her body yet, but my babysitter went and picked her up on Ravenswood and wrapped her in a blanket, and she's underneath my porch right now. Oh, it just sounds awful, doesn't it? Oh, my God. She's a rat abatement program for the city. I mean, she kills 5 to 7 rats a day. I don't know what the city's going to do without her. She's better than any, nitrous gas they're using or whatever, rate bait they use. Sorry.
Let me just say this.
What?
They drew first blood. Nothing is over.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Ed Morrissey, senior editor at hotair.com, about Obamacare repeal at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Funny, the city has a new rat abatement program they're rolling out on the south side of Chicago.
Not as good as my cat.
I don't know. We'll see.
And too soon, Mike, really. Too soon.
Well,
Thanks.
They announced it yesterday. 72 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. President Donald Trump attacking a Republican senator who opposed moving forward with long-promised legislation to repeal and replace Obamacare. Donald Trump saying on Twitter that Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska let Republicans and the state of Alaska down. Too bad. Murkowski was one of 2 Republicans who voted against allowing debate of GOP legislation to repeal much of the Affordable Care Act. President Donald Trump's former campaign manager will not be testifying today before the Senate Judiciary Committee as originally scheduled after the committee rescinded its subpoena. The committee withdrew its subpoena for Paul Manafort after Manafort agreed to turn over some documents and continue negotiating with the panel. Cardinal George Pell made his first court appearance in Australia on charges of sexual abuse and vowed through his lawyer to fight the allegations that have threatened the Pope's image as a crusader against abusive clergy. Pell is the most senior Vatican official ever charged in the Catholic Church sex abuse crisis. He did not enter a plea to charges alleging he sexually abused multiple people years ago in his home state of Victoria. Ohio preparing to put a condemned child killer to death in that state's first execution in more than 3 years. 43-year-old Ronald Phillips is scheduled to die this morning at the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility. He was convicted in 1993. Illinois lawmakers due back at the State House at Springfield at noontime today, but there could be empty seats as a special session on school funding called by the governor gets underway. Chicago police are expanding technology to fight gun violence in the city. Superintendent Eddie Johnson announcing yesterday that the Spot Shotter sensor program will now be utilized in the Gresham district. Wilson Contreras drove in 4. Cubs beat the White Sox 7-2. The news a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, the Napa Bucket for $3.99 is back. Not only will you get 20% off 3 or more items you can fit inside, but they'll also donate $1 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund with purchase. While supplies last, exclusions apply. 8:32 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
For 5 years, I was with this other company, and I tried everything, and it was costing me a fortune. And on top of that, it wasn't working. And I said, ever since I've taken this product, I have kissed that goodbye. Matter of fact, I said, this has been the first winter that I have gone through without a flu or nothing.
Last year I started on the Balance of Nature. I'm telling you, it really built me up, and it really helped me.
My cholesterol went down. Only after taking it 1 month, I went down 20 points.
I feel better already with it. I just feel it's made my life more predictable, more useful.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
8:34. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, the very latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Metro trains are stopped on the Union Pacific North Line after a pedestrian incident in Wilmette. The CTA is honoring Metro tickets on the Purple Line, also the Red Line from Howard to Loyola, and the Brown Line at the Demon Station. Eden's 20 minutes from Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 32, the Kennedy. With delays starting at Foster, it's now an hour and 5 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 49 minutes from Montrose, 40 in the express lanes are now quicker. Outbound 17 minutes to Montrose, 36 to the airport. The Eisenhower, 48 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 30 from Manheim. Outbound 47 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, heavy Wilson to North Avenue. Northbound Roosevelt to Jackson. Tri-State southbound stop and go 21 to Eau Plaine with a crash now on the left shoulder. Northbound Archer to 31st, and from the Cermak Toll to Lawrence. Northbound Veterans Memorial slow from the Boughton Toll to the Reagan Tollway, then from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sunshine and clouds today, warm and humid in the afternoon, high of 88. And that leads us to heavy clouds beginning to develop, some showers, and then maybe a heavier thunderstorm overnight, low of 72. Currently 71. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Dan and Amy, and before his rally in Youngstown yesterday, Trump had a press avail with the Lebanese president, at which time he was asked about the future of his attorney general and the nation's attorney general, Jeff Sessions. And Trump had this to say about Attorney General Sessions.
But I am disappointed in the attorney general. He should not have recused himself almost immediately after he took office. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me prior to taking office, and I would have quite simply picked somebody else. So I think that's a bad thing, not for the president, but for the presidency. I think it's unfair to the presidency, and that's the way I feel. Thank you.
Time will tell, he said, in terms of Sessions' future. Well, the implications of Sessions either resigning, which he's reportedly disinclined to do, right?
Yeah, his chief of staff said he's not going to be doing that, and he sent that message to the White House yesterday.
Or being replaced by President Trump. What the implications of that move at this time, where you're trying to muscle an Obamacare repeal and or replace out of the Senate, and doesn't look particularly good at the moment, not when you have Republicans celebrating barely mustering a majority to debate a topic that they unanimously said they wanted, that they unanimously agreed on for the last 7 years, which was to repeal and replace Obamacare. So for more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Ed Morrissey. He is the senior editor for hotair.com and a columnist for The Week. Ed, connect those dots for us, the pressure that Trump is putting on Sessions and the implications for his policy agenda, starting with Obamacare repeal and replace.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if the Sessions thing has anything much to do with repeal and replace, but it does have a lot to do with immigration policies. Jeff Sessions is the one member of his cabinet who is in position to enforce those other than John Kelly over Homeland Security. And Sessions is by far the most sympathetic to Donald Trump's campaign positions on immigration enforcement. And so it's very puzzling. This has erupted. This is the one guy who is going to be able to actually carry the ball on that. And if Sessions quits or if Trump fires him, because of some of the things that have gone on between Donald Trump and the senators in the Obamacare debate, especially people like Dean Heller, Jeff Flake, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, there's zero chance they're going to get anybody as hard line on that through the Senate. I mean, they're simply not going to do it.
Well, right. So the immigration is a good point, especially Trump talking about sanctuary cities yesterday in his the rally at Youngstown. But
he was touting Sessions' accomplishments. I mean, he's the one cabinet member that's doing something.
Well, not by name, but by implication. But in terms of connecting the dots to Obamacare, you've got a lot of conservatives rallying to Sessions, rallying to back Sessions. They don't like him being publicly denigrated like he has been, the grassroots as well as his former colleagues in the Senate. And that doesn't help Trump in terms of his political capital with respect to his agenda, starting with what's, at bar, Obamacare replace.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Obamacare thing is probably, I think there's more pressure on the senators just to deliver on their promises from the last 7 years than there is worrying about what Donald Trump is doing in the White House. Donald Trump has actually been kind of curiously hands-off. He's had a couple of high-profile meetings to try to rally Senate Republicans, but he's not been in town for some of the debates. He's kind of let Mike Pence handle that stuff. I think Mike Pence is probably more suited to that anyway. It's certainly going to have an impact on it, because the more that he goes after somebody that used to be one of their colleagues and somebody that they liked working with, and that's true, by the way, even of Susan Collins, who introduced Jeff Sessions during his confirmation hearings. Even though she is nowhere near as conservative as he is, she's his friend and was very supportive of his bid, his controversial bid, I should add, for Attorney General. I think that there's going to be an overall corrosive effect on Donald Trump's influence in the Senate if he continues down that path. I mean, to me, it's inexplicable why we're even seeing this. I mean, it is a bizarre situation over a recusal. Apparently, it's over the recusal, and the recusal pretty much stands on its own. They didn't have much choice in it. He didn't have much choice in it, especially because the way Trump was talking about the campaign and the investigation into this, Trump kind of made the bet on that recusal.
Well, Dan thinks I'm crazy on this thought, but maybe he wants to get a new AG in there who maybe might get rid of Mueller and ruin the whole, just get rid of the whole Russian investigation. Is that possible?
Well, I think that's what would happen, right? I think that's what he's aiming for. He wants somebody in there who's going to take control of the investigation.
That would be that would be. There's no way that happens. That is a disaster. It's a disaster. Yeah, of course it would be a disaster. That is crazy. I would start to question his mental acuity if he did that.
There's no other explanation for what he's doing, though. That's the thing. There is really no other explanation for it. He wants Mueller to be canned, and he wants either Sessions to do it or Rosenstein to do it. And since they're not doing it, he wants to fire Sessions or he wants
hire somebody who'll do it.
Except to your point, Ed, earlier, there's no way that anybody who says that that's what I'm going to do gets through a confirmation hearing, and because he's telegraphing it, that's the first question that any potential replacement of Sessions is going to be asked at a confirmation hearing. This is a joke. This is somebody with a fifth-grade understanding of politics, if this is truly what he's pursuing, which is why I just can't believe he is.
Well, let me put it in different terms. This is a guy who's used to running his own business. This is a guy who's used to having all the power at the top, and everybody who works in the organization answering to him probably directly, because it wasn't necessarily that deep of an organization, and where nobody else had any sort of power except for him. This is a guy who is used to a family-run, top-down type of business. No matter how big it is, that's the business model that he operated in. I don't think he's figured out that he's not operating in that business model, that the presidency is not that type of business model. At best, it's a CEO type of model where you're answering to different shareholders, different groups of shareholders, where power is a little bit more dissipated throughout the organization. You have a board of directors that has authority over that position, where you have a shared power situation. And I still don't think he's quite figured out that there are people who have power, authority, and credibility apart from the office of the presidency. Jeff Sessions is one of those people. So is Rod Rosenstein, and so is Robert Mueller. And while technically he can fire them all three of them, he can technically fire all three of them, there would be hell to pay for doing it. And possibly, if you saw something like that, you might see an impeachment process start, certainly with the Democrats, but there might be some Republicans at this point. If Sessions is the guy who gets axed, might be willing to go on board with it. And I think they're playing with fire, and they don't quite realize that yet.
Well, I can't believe no one around Trump realizes how inane that scenario is.
Which person around Trump do you think has the nerve to go up to Trump and say, "You're acting like an idiot. You need to stop it"?
Ivanka.
I don't see anybody in there.
Well, I don't know.
Ivanka, but
I mean,
Ivanka, maybe. Yeah, that'd be probably the only person.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't really I guess I don't know what the relationships are, or who he listens to. I mean, at one point people believe that Bannon had his ear. I mean, Priebus, it doesn't seem like it has much sway, but this is really an outsider's perspective. And as somebody who's been on the inside, at least at the gubernatorial level in Illinois, what's being reported, what we understand from the outside, a lot of personalities, a lot of dynamics. You don't always quite know what's happening.
Very true. Very true. And by the way, Bannon is still there, which is even more surprising in terms of the Sessions thing, because Bannon and Breitbart were huge Sessions fans, and Breitbart still is. I mean, they're openly criticizing Trump on this now, which is kind of unusual for Breitbart. You've got to think that Steve Bannon's trying to get to Trump and saying, you need to drop this, you need to drop this. I don't think that Donald Trump is a guy who got to 70 years of age by having people tell him what to do and him doing it very often. I really honestly think that that's, again, a cultural thing. It's not an intelligence thing. Donald Trump's an intelligent guy, but he's just not experienced in this. And he's not experienced in this type of power structure, and I don't think he's catching up to it.
Well, some other breaking news within the last half hour. President Trump tweeted about transgenders in the military, basically saying, he said, "Be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused and decisive and overwhelming victory, and we cannot have that burden and the tremendous medical costs and disruptions that transgenders in the military would entail." What do you think is going to be the pushback from this?
Oh, I think it's going to be huge. I think the media is going to take a lot less interest in the Sessions feud after this.
Yeah, right.
It's interesting because Trump did say that he was a big friend to the LGBT communities,
that's right.
and he has been through his his entertainment career. At least he's been pretty friendly towards them. But this was a decision that was actually overdue. James Mattis extended the decision time on this another month about how they were going to implement the policy that was changed last year, which allowed transgender individuals to serve in the military. So this is it's a reversal before the policy got fully implemented, and I think that this is the timing that it had to be. I'm a little surprised that they didn't let James Mattis actually rolled this out. It might have been a little bit easier for Trump if Mattis, who has a tremendous amount of credibility on Capitol Hill, was the person who rolled this out with that explanation. Maybe he wanted to be seen as the decision maker on this, and of course he ultimately would be anyway. But I think he may have. I think he may have wasted an opportunity here to have somebody else get out in front of this for him and roll this out with a little bit more credibility.
Well, you can certainly bet that Mattis is going to be asked about it, but do you think this has something to do as well with the failure of Republicans a couple of weeks back with some 24 Republicans that voted to essentially continue the Obama-era policy and with respect to coverage of transgender individuals?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is part of that. You also had Admiral Mullen up on Capitol Hill on yesterday, actually, talking about this issue and telling Congress not to interfere with the Pentagon's progress and in enlisting transgender people, and to make sure that there was enough funding for their medical issues and that sort of thing. And that may have been that really may have been the catalyst for the decision today. I would imagine that was probably more the case than what happened a couple of weeks ago. I think Mullen going up on Capitol Hill probably forced them to, or I don't want to say forced, but it probably was a catalyst for making this decision the way they did. And I think that they probably saw it as you either have to do it all or you can't do it, and you can't do any of it. And they just decided to do none of it.
He is Ed Morrissey, senior editor for hotair.com and columnist for The Week. Ed, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, some sun and some clouds. We have some high cloud coverage right now, and it's going to be warm and humid, a high of 88 degrees. And tonight, we're going to have a shower, heavier thunderstorm roll through here. And tomorrow morning, you'll be greeted with a shower. Otherwise, it'll be cloudy and sunny, a high of 83 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Where are the hot spots, Jim Telemonte?
Miami Metro's Union Pacific North Line has big delays after a pedestrian incident near Wilmette. CTA is honoring Metro tickets on the Purple Line, also the Red Line from Howard to Loyola, and the Brown Line to Damon. The Edens is getting a little heavier, actually, from Helston to the Junction. It's a 2-minute delay now instead of 1. Outbound, it's about a 10-minute delay. Pockets from Montrose to Willow. The Kennedy, an hour and 5 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 49 minutes from Montrose, 40 in the Express. Outbound 36 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, 49 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop. Outbound 47. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Ryan is 29 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive delays from Wilson to North Avenue. Northbound Roosevelt to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State heavy from the Stevenson to 31st and just jammed from the Cermak toll to Lawrence. There's a new lane shift in the roadwork zone. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, the digital platform where you can find content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews with opinion leaders and policymakers, like this week with Cook County Board of Review Commissioner Dan Patlak, a discussion of Cook County property taxation and how you can attempt to reduce yours, as well as 60-second commentaries, 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries from me this week on the nation's largest teachers union, the NEA. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments, new series we started, Heart of the Matter, which is professional women discussing the salient issues of the day, kind of in a colleague-to-colleague format. Podcast for Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, as well as 2-minute warning commentaries from Pat Hughes at Illinois Opportunity Project. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Ever since I was little, I imagined owning a bakery. With hard work, I made it happen. But after this weekend's robbery, I realized that I need to protect my dream with security.
I've got a great answer for you. Alarm Detection Systems, your local family-owned business, understands the threats you might face. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 and find out how we can protect you. License number 127000143.
I manage a construction site, and the other morning we had to send half of the crew home because of missing equipment. This nonsense is cutting into my time and budget.
Here's what you need to know. Alarm Detection Systems offers mobile security solutions that expand with your project. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 to find out about our alarm and video protection. License number 127000143.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, greatparkinglots.com. Check it out, greatparkinglots.com.
Go to greatparkinglots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of greatparkinglots.com. greatparkinglots.com.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
Until now, every advisor on the radio seems to be talking about market risk and how to manage it. In retirement, an equally important risk is living too long in poor health. The costs of long-term care and health care in general are rising faster than inflation. At Gibbons Financial, we can help you craft a plan that allows you to maintain and preserve your assets. We work with insurance providers that will pay a death benefit if you never use your long-term care insurance, as well as pay you back up to 80% of your premium if you desire. Don't let a prolonged illness diminish your hard-earned retirement. Allow us to design a plan of care that fits your specific need. Planning on government-based Medicaid is not a plan. Protect your family and assets. Call me, Mike Gibbons, at Gibbons Financial Group today at 224-419-5550. That's 224-419-5550. Call today for your personalized long-term care assessment.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing company.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Call 219-931-4881 today for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, I want to put your Epstein mom's note to plebiscite here.
Really? The song Another One Bites the Dust?
It's unrelated. It's
Oh my
unrelated
gosh.
to crazy. Unrelated. Read the note that you sent our program director, and let's see if this passes muster.
Okay, also, I don't know if you've been listening to the show this morning, but my cat was fatally hit by a car. Crazy is dead. His body has been moved to underneath my porch, and I'd like to get home and dig a hole before the maggots get in. That said, I wanted to stay for the meeting, the staff meeting, but I can't. I hope you understand. I'll let Jeff know. He's a cat lover.
You had me at maggots.
I know I'm very descriptive, but I mean, come on. You want to get home and give the cat the dignity and death that the cat deserves.
Absolutely.
That cat crazy killed more rats than any other creature on this planet. They even would rent him out if they're demolishing a building because he would find the rat's nest and go crazy. That's why he's called crazy. And he's going to be missed. And I'm going to find that person who hit my cat and took off.
You and OJ going to find the real killer.
We're going to find the real killer. Well, thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks so much for the kind notes of condolences about crazy. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now here's Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're watching this morning on AM 560, The Answer. Some lawmakers say they'll skip out on a special session on school funding. We'll tell you who. Bail denied for a third Chicago man charged in a police shooting. Chicago police are expanding ShotSpotter technology